Welcome to today's session of Your Levels. As we await the first submissions that will populate the queue, let's take a quick warm-up look at Male 64's in Dragon's Maw. This is a fairly new level from early March, and the objective will be to escape the inside of the beast. Fairly high clear percentage, but also a lengthy clear time, so we may be in for a nice and chunky experience. Let's take a look. So, Male 64 is one of the members of one of the communities that I occasionally do take codes from. And I think this may actually be the first time I've shown off one of their levels on stream. But anyway, we are going to have an optional Shelmet as a bit of an early reward for exploration. We're also going to have a semi-solid trap up here, but thankfully there is that one tile gap on the left to prevent any kind of soft lock shenanigans. These are all going to be the falling icicles, and we want to make it over to the P-switch because that's going to shoot out something, presumably fire, that is going to detonate the bombs and send us down below. Kind of wondering what is released on this blaster once the P block goes away as well, because now that the P switches out of the way, that may be something. Okay, it's just another P switch in case, I guess, something defective might have happened. It's okay. Everything is going pretty much as planned so far, and notice, of course, that we have some additional hard blocks down here. Although we are currently still in the main world, having gone through the door, now going through the sub-world. So previously, we knew that we only had 2 screens of height to work with. Boom Boom over here is going to be wearing a chump today. And I mean, we can take him out eventually. I don't know if there's going to be a particular purpose to it. If there's an optional key, yes there is. Activation of the on-off switch was not something I was paying that much attention to. But it seems like the blue blocks would have given us the chance to go for the 50 coin if we so wished. Now, let's see what is activated by tapping the jump blocks up and down. Goomba over there, 1-up over here, but we had a limited opportunity to grab the 1-up and we have missed it. So, through the pipe we go. Now, that's going to be a checkpoint, but we have the Buzzy Helmet, or rather, we had the opportunity to bump that with the Buzzy Helmet, and so we can do something with the side flop here, and hello Mang. And so this is something we're only able to do because we carried the Shelmet from the start of the level. So, bit of an optional exploration reward once again, and still we don't know where we are going to expend a key, but we have found ourselves a shortcut that is exclusive to starting from the beginning of the level, rather than from CP1. And here we go. And Aeolian, good to see you around. Aeolian, it's been good to see you around at multiple places, in fact. As you may know, I actually have been playing the big Scrabble tournament on Woogles yesterday and today. I do see you hanging around the server every now and then, so hope you've gotten some enjoyment out of it so far. And yeah, I've not been streaming the games into tournament because I wasn't quite sure how they would run, but there's going to be some spectator coverage tomorrow, and I don't know if I'll be on because I'm not in the top group anymore, having only gone 4-4 in today's round. But whoops, that was supposed to be a spin jump and I accidentally picked up the P. And so thank you for the additions to the queue from both Mang and Aeolian. I guess we spoiled our chance to clear the path that is from using the Shelmet at the start. So instead we'll have to kind of take the loser's path down here. And okay, on we go. Might as well tap this to see... Oh, and we lost a key from Boom Boom as well, so we actually have lost the opportunity to go through either of these optional exits. So So yeah, it looks like this is definitely designed for some degree of replayability, so long as you don't make an absolute mess out of the optional boss fight when you do in fact find it. And forward we go. Here's another boom. There can only be so many booms. And indeed, the snake block is going to take care of business over there anyway. This one is not going to give us a key. We are, however, going to have a P-switch activation that we don't manage to make use of in time. So yeah, we are failing absolutely every optional objective, it seems. And we'll just auto-scroll our way over and completely miss out on Red Yoshi. Okay. And miss out on the 50 coin as well, although I guess that would be from probably a deflection with the Fire Flower. No, that would just be from Red Yoshi, in fact. It's too high for the deflection. Okay, so this is going to be a controlled on-off gate. And what do we got here? It looks like if a E-switch is going to be active on that side, we'd have to see if these doors are actually matched, I guess. And it seems so. Now, the P-switch is going to do what for me? It looks like there are P blocks that are behind the bombs, so the bombs are going to detonate and drop the floor down below, except we are going to have, temporarily, the extra row of Ps to work with. Which also kind of makes me wonder about getting up here. I guess if you were jumping off Yoshi, that would make sense. That if you had Red Yoshi, you would be able to dismount and get on top of the pipe, and that would be probably the interaction you're looking for in terms of your ability to get up into the top layer. Instead, we're just going to take the worst path all the way across the level and not see most of the optional content this time around. Maybe something worth revisiting eventually when we want to do all paths. But we'll just kind of give this a quick first look during this playthrough, and then we will get directly into the viewer queue. Okay, so much for Junior. Not too big a deal over there. And of course, this was not really designed with the expectation that it would still be carrying the P. So it's really just a matter of digging our way around the clown car. I see, okay, because now, if you're not going to skip this using something like Yoshi, Junior does allow you to get through pipe. So let's do that. Grab the other P while we're at it. Grab the other P while we're at it. Shall we? We shall. Okay, I'm going to have another Koopa down there, and we are going to be able to hit the top of the gate, but we did miss a lot of optional paths on the way here, which makes me wonder where a lot of the other exits are. Just wanted to check over here, of course. And we'll hit 40 on the goal pole and be satisfied with that. So let's get into the queue. So yeah, definitely want to revisit at some point for some of the other paths. But in the meantime, we'll see what Mang has in store for us today. Because Christmas, after all, can only come so many times a year. It's kind of inappropriate how many shells Junior has in his clown car. Yep, it's almost like he has been stashing them for some kind of arms race. Also makes you wonder about the storage volume of the clown car. But Mario physics, I guess, have a certain capacity for distortion in the way that the clown car itself changes shape when objects of various size are loaded into it. Is there anything in particular you would like to recommend for us today, Mang? Because we have lots to catch up on, even with all of the recent submissions that we've received. Pikmin, sounds great. And definitely a throwback to the days of actually having the triple Pikmin costume that came with the Smash amiibo in Mario Maker 1. Always one of my favorites. Unfortunately, we'll just have to use our imagination as we answer the question, is this Pac-Man? Please respond. So, let's see what the Pikmin concept is going to be about. Okay, we see... Oh, I see. We're just going to have a bunch of these guys ejected, and then we're going to use them like lemmings, because after all, this is just much more like classic Lemmings, really, to be honest. Although I guess, you know, the kind of evolutionary line from Lemmings to Pikmin was always kind of there, waiting to be rediscovered. No way to get up there, but so we will lead a mole forward and miss. You don't actually know what Pikmin is about. Okay, so you basically just made Lemmings. Actually, this is a pretty reasonable representation of the Pikmin concept in some ways, except I don't get to pick them up and throw them. If I had the SMB2 mushroom in, of course, the SMB1 style, then it would really be Pikmin in some ways. But instead, we'll play Lemmings. I don't know if Lemmings is really that well remembered anymore. It seemed to be a pretty big thing and just a very widely referenced design concept, I guess. Back in its heyday, back in the day of the CD-ROM. Now, we probably have a limited number of these to work with, given the original spawning position, so I may have expended too many of these already, and I did need to jump on one of them as they came up the bounce in order to get up the Muncher. Over the Muncher, rather. And yeah, Mang, I do highly recommend the Pikmin series. Pikmin 3, of course, is now available on Switch, although with obviously quite redesigned controls, I think, from the original Wii U game, which was very much conceived for strategic multitasking with the gamepad. So I don't know how a lot of those systems, how they translate to however it was implemented on Switch. Although, of course, even originally there was an optional single-screen mode, and later on an optional stylus control mode. And so, Pikmin 3 has always been extremely flexible, depending on what you wanted to focus on as a player, whether you wanted to use the tablet for map management, or were keener on just mastering your throwing accuracy. And somebody who actually did play a lot of the speed challenges in Pikmin 3, there was a sense sometimes that no single control scheme felt quite ideal for what you wanted to do. And 1K-Man, that is an extremely accurate description, in some ways. It was always kind of interesting to see some of the product placement tie-ins as well, such as the Duracell batteries that you would find in Pikmin 2. I think Olimar is probably larger than a fingernail, but I'm not really sure. Actually, no, he's not. Thinking about the size of that Duracell battery I just mentioned. Also, Pikmin 3, in its bonus challenge levels that were patched in, and which were originally offered as DLC, has the distinction of having the best pizza in video games. Because there is a level where you and your microscopic friends wander around on a pizza, and it is theoretically delicious. Whoops. You have to remember to play Grasshopper there as we land on the row with the tips of the vines. yeah, we are going to have a bit of finite resource management, I guess, which is very much true to the Pikmin concept as well. That we're only going to have a certain number of them to work with here, and we should not be too wasteful as far as I understand it. Okay, on we go. And we'll just have to watch our targeting a little more accurately. And Pikmin 2 is also, of course, one came in. A very interesting kind of randomized dungeon crawler. It's funny because you don't actually see that many Nintendo games lean that hard into the concept of randomized survival dungeon crawling. And in some ways, Pikmin 2 was just kind of way ahead of its time. But it's interesting that, you know, as with many Nintendo series, each game in the series does have a very distinct identity in terms of what it focuses on. I mean, you know, in Pikmin 3, you have much more of that lock and key adventure structure as you expand across the map. Yeah, wonderful series. Highly recommended. Out of all the things that Shigeru Miyamoto has created, Pikmin in some ways feels like the most Miyamoto-like game, and it's kind of a hard thing to describe, but it's very clear when you do in fact play the series that it's like an expression of his various obsessions with, you know, exploring Zen gardens and so on. Okay, I really do need to do a better job of manipulating the mole position such that we are able to bounce across a few of them at once and get onto the right side. I'm not really doing that accurately just yet. But yeah, we are able to spawn up to 7. Looks like they're just stacked in the same initial spawning column from what I remember of mole spawning rules, which I think mostly I just learned from playing the big 4YMM Mole Maze level by Saku, which is still, I think, one of the great puzzle levels of Maker 2. Learned a lot about mole mechanics there, only to forget it all here. And miss an awful lot of jumps along the way. And yeah, one came in, as I understand it, there was some extra sort of Olimar and Louie content that was patched into Pikmin 3 as well as a bit of a small bonus. But as with many of the Nintendo ports, I assume that the bonus isn't actually that large. I was actually kind of surprised by what a substantial experience Bowser's Fury was recently. I mean, it is short in terms of playtime, but in terms of content, it does have a lot going on. And what people often forget when they talk about, you know, Bowser's Fury being apparently very short. Since I got 100% in about 8 or 9 hours, I think, and many people can do it shorter, that Mario games, to begin with, tend to have short play times because there is just so little downtime between levels, especially the ones that are of more of the guided, you know, classic linear style. Okay. I actually played a demo to Hey Pikmin. I liked the concept of Pikmin having a spin-off platformer, but I wasn't impressed enough with the demo to have confidence that they executed the concept of it in a way that really lived up to its promise. I remember being really excited about Hey Pikmin when it was first shown off for the 3DS, actually, because I just thought that as a concept it was a great idea. It's just that, you know, it was one of those cases where, you know, I went to see the demo and I thought, okay, maybe they're not quite doing this right, and also because the performance on it was rather shoddy. Like, you could tell that it was a game that was kind of given off to the spin-off developers at Zest that work on the portable Yoshi games, which have never really been that noteworthy, so much as I know. Okay, we still need to figure out how to do the triple stack, not triple stack rather, but the triple mole segment, where we do need to jump across safely. Moles really do like to bump each other, and that's something that I occasionally have to remember to plan around. They love to bump each other. So if I drag them over... I need to position myself such that as many of those moles as possible are on the right. And I need to kind of lead them with some momentum, I think, in order to get them into position. And I'll have to figure out how to do that. Okay. In Pikmin 3, did you actually have a cap of 99 days? I didn't know that, but then I was never really at risk of cap. Even though I did really take my time with Pikmin 3. Like, I did get 100% in it initially, and took the long way about some things, in that I didn't unlock Blue Pikmin in that game until very, very late, because I wasn't really following story progression or anything like that. Whoops. A good strat is to never let them pass you so they never bump. Yeah, I see what you mean there in terms of the reversal of direction. Where, you know, as with most of these levels, it seems like being built to go fast is, in fact, the way we should think about this. And then that's going to be a short bounce, but then I feel like there was a third mole there that was kind of trailing. And yeah, one came out, as I understand it, in the Switch port of Pikmin 3, they do have some kind of hard mode rebalancing as well that I think is... it does something with your overall Pikmin cap, and it also does something with the depletion of your food supply, you know, for people who kind of know what they're doing. But I didn't pay that much attention to the port since I did play the game so thoroughly on Wii U already. I've kind of rebought a surprising number of Wii U games on the Switch. And that's something I didn't used to do. I didn't used to own the same game on multiple platforms at all, ever. For the longest time. And the Switch just changed a lot of that as a matter of convenience. Okay, I need to continue leading those targets and do kind of short bounces to gradually inch my way over to the right. Okay. Nope, miss. What an army of moles. Yeah, definitely a very cool concept, though. Okay. I definitely remember seeing sort of, you know, themed Pikmin costume levels quite a bit in Maker 1. But, of course, none of them were really executing the concept this way in terms of having all kinds of minions that are sort of in your control until they just stumble into a trap and die. Okay. No, positioning there wasn't quite right. I needed to lead them all a little further to the right, I think. Oh yeah, one came in. I'd almost forgotten about the Pikmin game that's in Nintendo Land. There's a lot in Nintendo Land that I didn't really wind up exploring simply because I didn't always have a co-op partner available. So I ended up playing a lot of the solo stuff, such as that very beautifully rendered modernization of Balloon Trip. Oops. But some of the stuff that was a bit more elaborate, like the Metroid and Zelda games that were very co-op dependent, I didn't get as much mileage out of. The Luigi sort of 4-on-1 flashlight game, though, was kind of a wonder to behold. Okay, the positioning was probably fine that time, except, of course, I did what I did with the first jump. I feel like I still have to kind of understand what my method is going to be in that segment in terms of getting them properly spaced. I do want to conserve these as much as possible. That would actually have done it that time, I think. In fact, looking at the spacing there, I think even going on to first mole might be possible, but we'll see, because if I'm just sort of leading them to run continuously without turning back, the arc may be just fine. No, it isn't. Okay. Okay, but I think the second bounce might be enough. I don't know if I need all three, but I need to revisit that segment a few times in order to determine that. Yeah, the Yoshi one, as I recall, when it came in, was probably just that's the one where you draw the path on the gamepad, right? Yeah, Aeolian, I've heard a lot of good things about the Metroid one from people who, you know, kind of properly explored it in depth. It's just that I didn't manage to do so. Okay. I lost a mole somewhere in there. I might not have waited long enough to spawn it. Okay, let's try this again. And again. Okay. Well, we got a checkpoint. Certainly seemed like I was missing one last one for the 30 coin. Yep. So that's how you get that one. It's just that I was down by one. Oh, I see. Okay. No, I wasn't really reading the ground tile properly as a ceiling tile, using, of course, the property of the implicit scroll stop. That happens when you just build in the bottom half and have all the scroll lock happen automatically, which of course means that ground blocks are going to add as barriers going all the way up to the ceiling, even when they are only built halfway. I expended one mole too many. Oh, really love that setup in terms of having the moles in position there. I read it a little bit late, but and the idea of it was really quite good. Okay. Nope. Once again, just miscalculated their trajectory coming out of the jump block. Yeah, I kind of like that in the first segment. Preserving the last mole is just kind of there as a bonus in case you do go fast enough that you lose it, or maybe not even spawn it in the first place. Okay. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Still kind of making a determination there as to whether I'm planning to go left or right. Miss. Yeah, I should try to catch it sort of in the middle of that row of 5 blocks. By which I mean the jump block followed by 4 spike blocks. Try to catch that in the middle, Vertically speaking. Horizontally speaking, rather. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, I should not try to jump the gun on it quite like that. I do need to just jump directly over, I think, when I go down the conveyor belt. But we'll see if my understanding of momentum there is going to be correct or not. Because sometimes it does take a little bit of experimentation to gauge the distances and select my path and understand what that muncher blocking that lower path was really doing. I'm not even sure I remember the Game & Watch one, now that I think about it. Also present in Nintendo Land, of course, is a very rare acknowledgement of mysterious Murasame Castle, until, of course, Maker 2 came along and also treated us to that. I know they actually did localize Mysterious Murasame Castle, for some regions at least, for one of the eShop releases during the 3DS and Wii U generation. Kind of surprising that that has not yet been added to the Switch Online library, given how much sort of new exclusively localized content they have done. Yeah, I do need to do kind of a triple bounce in those moles quickly so we clear the path. And Chris Shaw, welcome, and thank you for the submission of Can't Get You Out of My Head. I will not be singing along to it, but I look forward to seeing what you did with the music track. Okay, no, I did need the second bounce after that. The moles are strangely happy despite witnessing their friends being murdered one after the other in front of their eyes. Meng, that is one of the reasons that this is actually quite faithful to Pikmin as it was originally, because the thing about Pikmin is that your army, they panic from time to time, but they're overall quite jolly about the fact that you see their friends get slurped up by the tongues of larger and more dangerous creatures. It's the kind of game that can give children nightmares, I think, because they see all their companions just murdered in the most carnivorous way. I don't know if it's actually carnivorous, because I guess Pikmin are kind of like plants, or kind of like buds. They're kind of like sentient vegetables in some ways. In fact, the reason that the heroes of the Pikmin games noticed Pikmin in the first place is because they are reminded of their favorite carrots. Should I check the pipe? Of course I should check the pipe. Okay. And of course, I'm going for everything here. Just as a proof concept. You see? No problem. Fun music precision platformer. Okay. The word precision there worries me, but other than that, looking forward to seeing what you have in store. People who frequent the stream know that precision is one of the things I am worst at doing, so fair warning. But we'll see if we can get through it. And who knows? I mean, you know, there's precision and there's precision, right? Let's not prejudge anything here. Okay, let's see. Thwomp is going to go, and then we need to figure out where to go from there. And I'll just have to plan that out. Going to get a bump over here, going to spawn as many as we can. Just pluck them from the ground. And miss. Yeah, because once the Thwomp is released, I don't think I should necessarily be hanging around for more of the moles. I should maybe try to see if I can continue directly further to the right. But we'll see if that's actually the case. Almost looked like I could make that, but I guess the corner on that 3-tile wide slope has something to say about that. But yeah, there aren't very many Nintendo deaths that are quite as gruesome as a Pikmin death. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to clear the thwomp out of the way before we start having the moles bump into it on the side. And then that should give us sufficient positioning to go a little bit further. We just have to... Oh, no, too slow. But if we go a little bit faster, then the moles don't get bumped back. And they continue going to the right, and to give us enough space to slowly inch our way over with a successive series of jumps. Let's not do that. Let's not be reckless. Let's take one mole on the left, and then big mole very quickly with a relatively short jump. And we'll see if that gets us any additional headway. Feels like I should still be doing that a bit faster, because it's very clear to me now that the backwards bump on the moles is a mitigating factor. Now we can do much better on that score. Maybe we should have been staying ahead of all those moles to begin with. Lord Luke 804, it is going fine. We have just kind of started up for today. So the queue is wide open and will be for a little while. I'm not going to go as long as I usually do. I say that a lot. And I usually wind up going way too long anyway, but I'm hoping to not run the stream as long as I usually do, so there will be a fairly early queue closing. But everybody who is already here should be able to get played, so... Let's see here. Yeah, we needed to move the thwomp even further ahead, so that does require us to kind of stay continuously ahead of the moles so they don't get slowed down by collisions. Nope, let's not do too risky a jump over there. So yeah, it's just a bit of a pathfinding problem here that we'll solve in due course. And yeah, we just need a bit of a shorter jump over there as well to get the mole stack over, and then we eventually make our way over to the segment that is being blocked off up top by the one-way panels, and that is where we will go up onto the next jump block. Yeah, we need to go left, right, left, right. I have enough spacing to do that. And Lord Luke, thank you for serving up hot taters. Sounds delicious. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we're not really able to reactivate the thwomp for some reason. I was hoping that it would move forward, but perhaps we were kind of out of position in terms of getting out of the thwomp range too early. But it should be left, right there if we want to preserve as many moles on the left side as possible. We only need to spend 2 of the small moles coming in on the left. I think that approach will be more or less correct. As long as we don't overcompensate for the mole positioning over the spikes when they are not getting bumped back and forth. So, forward we go. Let's await the next interaction, and oh, getting bumped there was not a good idea. Okay, there we are. Nope. Too high a jump, once again. And here we are. Yep. Not quite. I saw that there was a bit of mole collision that time as well. That was throwing everything off slightly. So on we go. Nope. And on we go. Okay, the spacing was not quite right that time, but I didn't really have enough left to right momentum going onto the second mole on the left. And so that's something that can be corrected. Unless it's safer to just spend 2 moles in that cycle, but until I see an indication otherwise, I will assume that I've done things somewhat correctly, but at the same time, I seem to be going fast enough that the thwomp there is not activating. I don't know if I'm kind of getting ahead there, and if I should maybe do an additional mole activation on the left, but this might take a little bit of experimentation to get right until I know what exactly is going wrong with this guy. Yeah, you see, the thwomp takes a moment to reset back to the one-way panel. It has not finished resetting by the time I get onto the additional mole, which tells me that I actually need to get a double bounce. It's going to be left, right, left, left, right. Because otherwise, the thwomp will not have sufficient opportunity to reset back to the one-way panel and reactivate in the direction of travel. So that's going to be the approach we take. Left, right, left, left, right. Left, right, left, left, right. But we need to be a little bit quicker about that with some lower jumps. Otherwise we get into the same bumping problem. But to me that was definitely the correct approach to fixing what was going wrong. That was not the correct approach to fixing what was going wrong. Okay, here we go. And yeah, we should minimize collision at all costs by keeping the jumps nice and low. And on we go. Nope. 2 moles up front are too busy having a conversation. Actually, oddly reminds me of the frogs in Tokitori 2, which I played not long ago. So there are these frogs that you manipulate in Tokitori 2, like you shift their positioning around such that they blow bubbles and elevate you to new places. But the idea is that you can reposition the frogs in order to solve various environmental puzzles, and when you put some of the frogs next to each other, they have conversations like the moles were doing just now, where they'll just face each other and talk. What do they talk about? Mold? Yeah, probably. I mean, I assume that... No, they're frogs. They talk about the same things the rest of us do, you know? Politics. And... dining. And... Mario Maker, presumably. That's all I talk about for hours a day. Okay. It has occasionally occurred to me that there is more recorded evidence of my speaking voice talking about Mario Maker than there is about any other subject. By a long, long shot. It's not even close, in fact. That if you were trying to assemble some kind of complete record of my ability to speak this language, most of it would be about whatever it is we do here. Taldir, welcome. Welcome back, I should say. And yeah, Taldir, fairly short queue today so far, I think, and I believe you will actually have sub-privileges if you throw something in. And okay, let's... But of course, you're always just welcome to spectate as well. That was the right idea, except I miscalculated when it came to the one-way panel. I do need an additional repositioning or two in order to get around that and get onto the jump block. But I do have the right idea in terms of where to cut some jump height in order to the moles to travel a little bit more gracefully. Nope, too much of a bump. Yeah, left, right pattern is correct, but I need shorter jumps in terms of height. And thank you for throwing in your maker code. Okay. And yeah, Lord Luke, this has been a fun one so far. It is meant to be a Pikmin-themed level, although its creator, Meng, has reportedly not played Pikmin, and yet it's actually a pretty faithful recreation of certain concepts. Mostly it's just missing the electric fences that zap all your Pikmin, bodies of water that drown all your Pikmin, and the apex predators that eat all your Pikmin. And, you know, all the various sources of lethality that are made up for instead by Thwomps and Sawblades. But I guess, yeah, these are, you know, going to be a class of Pikmin that are able to survive through Sawblades. Kind of like the Rock Pikmin. The level I played last time, you made expansions to it. Okay, interesting. Well, you sent in the maker code, so we'll kind of consider that, but we'll take that into consideration when we are picking something, if the intention is to kind of let me take the pick of the litter. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what you have in store. That was correct. We did need to leave the last mole alive. I just missed the jump block completely on that second last jump. But yes, we do need one last mole alive in order to reach the goal at the end, by the looks of it. And so the count was correct. We expended the right amount. We had everything go fairly smoothly. And then I just flubbed the very essential jump that was under the one-way panel. Okay. And it seems like if you have two moles there, you are able to get over to the coin. But the only way I can see to have two moles there is if you go left, right. And with that pattern, I was unable to get the Thwomp to reactivate in time. So I think you need a little bit more precision as a player in terms of timing, in terms of delaying that particular jump strategically, and not delaying it so much that you cause mole collisions, if you're going to conserve that extra mole. But I kind of like that there is that buffer of one optional mole all the time that, you know, allows for players to, I wouldn't say mess up a bit, but allow them to, you know, have that extra margin of error if they're not doing everything absolutely optimally. Okay. No game audio. Okay, let's fix that. Thank you for telling me about that. That is sometimes a problem on the stream. We'll get that fixed very quickly. This is thankfully not a music level. Yeah, thanks for letting me know about that. That is just a streaming computer limitation, I'm afraid. My side. Basically, when things start overheating, the first thing to go is the game audio. That's what happens with a bit of a minimalist streaming setup. That is just enough to scrape by. Thank you for bearing with that. Everything should be back and working now, though, according to what I am seeing on my end, so hopefully that will hold out. We occasionally have some streams that go without a hitch, but that is a well-known issue. And I've searched very thoroughly for ways to deal with it, but unfortunately, you know, unless I start playing inside a refrigerator or something, we are going to have a couple of issues with the CPU core temperature disagreeing with the game music. So yeah. Eventually, new streaming computer, maybe, but right now when we're just running stuff on a Switch, not too imperative a need for that just yet. Although there's a lot of stuff that I would have liked to stream on PC that, for technical reasons, I am unable to do. Simply because we're not in a position to run PC games and stream them at the same time. So we make do with what we have. Yeah, the positioning was way off there. And I kind of knew that was not going to happen, just given the height of some of the jumps. And those in queue, I know I've been on this for a while, but we're close enough to finishing that I think it will be quite satisfying to see this through. I won't be spending this long on every level in queue, unfortunately, just to give you a bit of a fair warning. But we'll try to play fair with this. Okay. There we go. That's a clear. Thank you for that, Mang. Pikmin? Pikmin? Okay. Going to pop in a sub next. And then we'll go straight down to next right away. Sub next I don't do repetitions of, unless, you know, other people's subs come in, so don't worry if you're down in the queue, it's not going to keep alternating all night, I'm sure. So let's plug in Taldiers. So this was, I believe, the maker code, and we'll see if you had a particular recommendation. You had airship infiltration. Ah, yes, and then you had multiple parts. So, did you just want me to continue with that? Seems like you had a couple of different variations that you cranked out really quickly, actually. Just a whole bunch of uploads, one after the other. We can just go to number 2, unless there's something else that you would like to show me. But yeah, we'll just go through the series. Let's play the first one first. Yeah, because it seems like the starting screen is basically identical. I remember the first one kind of reminding me of some of the menu screen things before as well, but of course with your own custom scrolling design. Thanks for confirming that this was Pikmin. Oh, okay, well, very unfortunate that nobody had really provided you with any verification of authenticity there. Okay, blue mecha is going to be kind of important here, but I don't really have a good jumping angle, actually. Trying to find a good angle onto that cannonball that would get me up to the 30 coin, and I was not quite seeing it, but we will try again. And no, I know they're not the same. It's just the opening that was used in the title image. Anyway, burner face is down, so we don't need to worry too much about that. Let's... What am I clinging onto up there? Oh, okay. I landed on top of these guys off camera, which was kind of surprising. Now, a nice thing about these guys is that you can move them. You have to move them somewhat carefully, but... Anyway, Mecha is going to fire a cannon. I was just kind of playing around there to see if I could drop on it, but nope, the cannon is going to block it off completely. It's funny because the fashionable thing used to be to just put tons of those cannons and other blasters and such on Koopa Troopas to make them look like they were firing guns at you, but if you have access to mechas, why not use the mechas? Now, on that question block with spawning the mushroom, I do tend to hit it when it's off screen, because that is kind of a natural place to be jumping around, especially if you want to try to kill the blue mecha, or disable it rather. So that is just a slight concern when it comes to running into unexpected blocks that you're unable to see, and which are supposedly there to help you, and which instead cause all kinds of trouble. You can jump from the cannon for the 30 coin, I presume. Yeah, I was looking at that and thinking the spacing would work, but I did not try it. Oh, why? Thanks for this, Shelmet. That will serve as well, perhaps. I think if I maybe outpace a bullet, something may happen. I don't know. Yeah, let's run over here. No, unfortunately, no reward for just outpacing the bullet and jumping all over it. However, these guys are just gonna zap all day until I decide to run through here. And Mang, thank you for yet another submission. Hopefully we'll actually get to a second one of yours today, because yesterday that did not happen. That's okay, we take our time with things. That's just how it works around here. Okay. And yeah, it's going to be hanging around on one airship after the other. Let's not be too aggressive about messing with the camera scroll. I do think that it seems a little bit risky to just have the goal pole dangle off an edge like that without any kind of safety zone to the left of it. I mean, it's very visible, it's very hard to miss, it's not really a problem, but it's definitely something that feels claustrophobic, I would say. And that's just, I know, a very subjective consideration. But, you know, sometimes something can be perfectly safe, but the spacing you give it on either side and the safety margin can make it feel much tighter than it actually is. So yeah, thanks for offering me the record on that one, and for the GGs. Looking forward to more from Taldir, but for now we are going to go straight down next. So, yeah, Taldir, that's what playtesting is for. That's going to be your decision to make when it comes to whether you are making some further fixes while it is still fairly fresh. And Aeolian, you are here, you sent me your maker code. We were halfway through your super world ages ago. Months and months ago. I don't know if you want me to look at that or if you want to suggest something else instead. I don't even remember where I was in that, to be honest. I just know that I was partway there months and months ago, and so yeah, would be happy to take a recommendation. I see that it has actually been a profile not updated since you uploaded your super world, so we may as well just continue. Those of you unfamiliar with Super World rules, I will play the first level like a normal submission, and then if we're moving very quickly, like within the first 15 minutes, I will keep playing. Just so we can see levels together as a set in case they happen to be very short. And Taldir, you're in progress making part 5, where you fight the Mad Lad. Was Boom Boom sort of widely referred to as Mad Lad before Nintendo did it themselves, or was that something that Nintendo actually started? I don't seem to remember. But anyway, let's hit up another airship. And Chris Shaw, very unfortunate that you can't stay, but thank you for dropping by anyway. And we hope to catch you at some other time. I do viewer levels fairly regularly on this time slot and also the day before, so, you know, Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. And yeah, good luck submitting anywhere else, really. I completely misread that because it seems like I'm blocked up there. Saw all those piranhas and thought, okay, maybe there's somewhere to go, and it seems not. That's okay, we just need to be careful about not being outpaced by the auto-scroll here. And, oh, I see, it's because I was scrolling the camera up, and so when I was scrolling the camera up to explore up there, I kind of locked myself in. Because I didn't quite see what the spacing would be like on the bottom row. And yeah, the bombs are just going to threaten you with destroying the platforms. The chomps are going to threaten you with chomping your face off. And the Cheep Cheeps are just going to be Cheep Cheeps. Okay. Mushroom here. Always liked the cheap interaction with both poison and lava, which I think actually has a different behavior when it comes to Yoshi, if I recall. That's there is a difference, like a mechanical difference in terms of various interactions between poison and lava, and I can't keep them quite straight in my head, but it is something that I've kind of seen shown off before at some point. Whoa, nearly getting shot in the face once again. Let's toss the POW, sure, why not? And completely miss with the POW. Okay. We may as well actually use a spin jump for a change every now and then. I have to say that whenever you see blasters like that segment on the left, there's a very strong temptation to check on top of the blaster to see if there's a secret there. And if you do that, the auto-scroll is fast enough that it does just kill you. Whoops. And there we go. Well, you see, the thing is, Taldir, that even if you put an arrow there, that doesn't necessarily stop me from exploring. Because usually when I read an arrow, all that tells me is, oh, that looks like the main path. Let's check the side path. And in some ways, I think maybe it's the camera scroll that throws me off. Like if I'm losing vision of where the main path is going to go when I go up high, then that's the issue, because, you know, you see that up there, it doesn't really look like a wall, right? Like it's a very decorative little outpost or tower. But I'm not necessarily reading it as a hard wall. And here we go. Love the general concept of visually what you're doing with all these boats. I see that they are supposed to be boats, and so the towers are actually command towers. They're, you know, communications stations. Okay. And of course the boats are just going to very unwisely blow themselves up with their own bombs. That seems like it might not be the craftiest piece of shipboard engineering. Alright, Iggy, let's see what you have here. But it's sort of interesting that you also have the airship as the signifier on the world map for this, and it is very much just a poison ship level. With some pretty interesting designs. I know that, you know, obviously the theme here, when you work with New Soup Poison, can be a bit of a compromise in terms of not having all the rigging that you do in something like Super Mario World Airship, for instance. But I think you make do pretty well with what you have in terms of using the semi-solids that are usually built for forestry. And hey, Safety Man, welcome. We didn't get a key, but let's check this. Oh, no, we can't check that because of the wall. Okay. Although if we had a key, I guess the idea is that we jump over the flagpole, like wall jump, twirl, and then kind of loop back around in the key door. I think. Anyway, thank you for Iggy's Boat Battalion. This is Super World, so we're going to continue. Since we're only about 5 minutes in, we'll do 1 or 2 more. And just so we can experience some of these as a set, beginning with 6-1. 6-1 is going to be Boeing Barriers. Not to be confused with Boeing Barriers. I'm sure would suffer from an industry-wide recall if the track record of the 737s is anything to go at. Whoops. Okay, nice use of this mechanic, actually. Nice use of the hop chops, too, in fact. Even though they are kind of stationary onto one tiles, but the visual distinction between the hop chops and the springs sending you up to the 50 coin is, I think, something that's nicer than if you just had sideways springs over vertical spring. Okay. There we go. Those are obviously just going to be coins. Nice use of the donut blocks here, too. You know what? These donut blocks recently have been throwing me off in playing actual 3D World, because actual 3D World doesn't let you preserve them by bouncing on top of them indefinitely. There's one of those small mechanical nuances that I'd actually practically forgotten about after many years away from 3D World proper. Okay, oh, whoops. That was just a miss. And Safety Man, thank you for walking the dog. I did check, by the way, that I had not already played that code, and I have not. So it is going to be something new and exciting. And hopefully not so far back that you have to hit the hay before any dog walking can happen. Okay, cat suit. Okay, now we think about climbing fences, probably. No, not for long. That's the other thing, too, is that I have to kind of switch back to Maker 2 cat suit mode in terms of my thinking. I feel like we should check this. I was making that kind of determination there and wondering, okay, what's the main path, what's the optional path? This is the optional path. You can tell because it's full of bees. Not the bees. I mean, they're going to spawn indefinitely from the blasters, so the idea here is that this is a one-up challenge, actually. As signified by the mushrooms. That's a really nice touch, actually. One that most people aren't going to take advantage of, unfortunately, because of the way that lives work in Maker 2, but, you know, if we just kind of imagine that this is in an official Mario game, it's kind of cool to have a bonus room that is a challenge-based bonus room like this. I've very rarely seen that in Mario Maker simply because, you know, most people write that off as not a very functional idea. And it's very refreshing to see that. And okay, there we go. Actually, Safety Man, I really do like New Super U. I know that there was apparently one notorious change in the DX version where by default it binds the jump button to the mid-air twirl, or something like that. And there's something ridiculous like that, and you can turn it off, but it's actually a very opaque process to do so, from what I've heard. But yeah, I played all of that, plus Luigi U to completion multiple times on Wii U, and I think there's a lot to learn from that too in terms of level design. I mean, but I can definitely see what you're talking about in terms of like missing the amount of chaos and, you know, some of the really wild elements that you see in Mario Maker. And that, like, you see lots of really unique ideas and mechanics in the mainline game, but definitely they follow a very kind of controlled style when it comes to Nintendo's principles of what they consider fair. So, something that can wind up feeling predictable if you're not careful. Okay, that was very satisfying, getting on top of that hop chop like that. We're just going to fail this completely. Long jump is probably what we need here, but I had to remind myself of what the long jump input is in this game first. NSMBU DX are too many letters, yeah. I have ultimately just kind of capitulated to calling it Mewsoup. I was very resistant to that because, you know, being somebody who mostly just talked about this stuff in writing, I was accustomed to just calling it NSMB, NSMBU, etc., NSMBDS, NSMB2, all that. But, as I've said before, I don't know who made this whole new soup thing catch on. Like, there's a bunch of community terminology that seemed to be established over the course of Maker 1. And for the most part, I don't know where it originates. Like, I don't know who started saying Blowy Joey for the Twisters, for instance, even though the Twisters only came out for Maker 2. Like, I don't know if it was Havoc or somebody else who popularized that, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of, you know, community cliches and such that I am not actually party to. Okay, there we go. Yeah, because long jump here, you just hit the shoulder button, and I have to remember that. Bad idea. I probably should have just gone up and wall jumped off the left side directly. And yeah, safety of man, it's something I hear surprisingly often from streamers, that you have a lot of people just refer to Twisters as Blowy Joeys. And, SM3DW plus BF, I mean, 3DW, of course, I just find it easier to call it 3D World. But, you know, whatever's most efficient. Okay. But yeah, I don't know how the new soup thing caught on. Must be like a stealth campaign by Campbell's Soup, you know, like the Andy Warhol estate wanting to have a word with Mario Maker. Anyway, let's tap this. Whoops. Sure, we'll slap you all day. Kind of nice to have the bonus room be just a one-use thing as well. It's a very DKC-like idea in some ways, where, you know, the exclamation block is working like one of the barrel blasts. Okay, fine, we'll just fail that again. I see here that if you keep the catsuit up to this point, then you can use the fences for assistance, and that actually makes it slightly easier. Same with this segment, you can just do to climb, right? So, some very interesting ideas here in terms of how to make the power-up progression matter. And of course, because of the semi-solid on the other side of this pipe, if you go back through the pipe, it's just going to bounce you back. But I thought I'd demonstrate that anyway. So I can, you know, take a sip of my drink while I wait for the pipe. Whoop. Been playing Mario 64 on the Pro Controller, yeah. It's definitely something to get used to, I find, in terms of Mario 64 now having a camera stick instead of camera buttons, because, you know, if you play a lot of 3D games, you just get so accustomed to nudging the stick all the time. But because it's simulating the N64 camera buttons in the All-Stars port, I've found that when I was playing 64 in All-Stars, that I was constantly moving the camera too much. And that so much of the level design is actually designed in such a way that you should be trusting the camera more than you would in most modern 3D games. And I wasn't doing that, and so like the camera was just jittering everywhere at these very sharp rotational angles. And it was just an absolute disaster. There's got to be something up above Creeper. We will not find out what it is. Nope. We can just get in the lower level. I don't know why I'm doing that. Whoop. Kind of nice to have the bees down there as a mild threat. Come on. Okay, that works. There we go. And I do not have a key. Okay. A track block up here is indicating to me that there was a secret buried up there, probably from the Creeper route, now that I look at it. But not having the cat suit, we can't really verify that. Okay. So, just so folks in the queue know, from the time spent, this will be the last level we play from the Super World. Like, it makes sense to just kind of play two, given the length of this one, and then move on. So, we'll be proceeding with the queue after this one, but for the time being, really enjoying what I see here. Can't really see that hop chop on the way down. I mean, you know that something is lifting the stack, but the specific height of the stack is something that's off camera. And so that felt a little bit dangerous. And this is just going to be a tree climb. And then you get on top of the Creeper. I wonder if you can go up that pipe, in fact. I kind of feel inclined to try, except, you know, you can only do so much to hit that thing unless you have the cat. I guess the arrows are roughly trying to tell you what to do. And that this is also supposed to be perhaps a wall jumpable segment? No, maybe not. Okay. Nope. Down arrow. It's trying to tell me something. And... oh, there's nothing because you wouldn't make secrets that hard. Okay, I see. And then the down arrow is telling me to go towards the hop chop, and then what do I do here? Almost looked like it was supposed to be a wall jump up the right side. Oh, that's the other bad habit I have in 3D World proper, is that I keep trying to do the twirl now, which does not exist in that game. Really kind of messing with me all around. Yeah, not quite seeing the actual exit here. Yeah, I don't know if I just missed something. Oh, I have the key. Yeah, I should have remembered that I had saw the key door much sooner. And that's a checkpoint with 77 seconds remaining. Yeah. Definitely a lengthier piece relative to some of the other ones in the Super World, but I do think it does justify its length from the variety of mechanisms that you have that use the central idea of the spring column, which seems very entity budget heavy in some ways, but you know, managed to make it work, so we'll deal with it. Feels like we can just kind of indefinitely wall jump off this thing. And, whoops. Of course, if we hit the question blocks, we might see something like a catsuit? I don't know. Okay. There we go. 10 coin. We worked for that. We will consider it worth every penny. Catsuit? Yeah, I mean, obviously, Cat Climb would have made that much much simpler. Okay. Okay, let that guy curve around. 9 seconds is not really going to be enough to work with here. We will take to death. Not intentionally, but we were going to run out of time there anyway. Okay. There are several longer levels in this world, so not all are necessary. Oh, you mean in terms of optional paths through the world? Yeah, I find that when I play Super Worlds, I will do everything anyway. I don't tend to cut corners when it comes to optional content, so... But that's just my habit as a player. I guess I'm not really so focused on clears as I am on seeing content, right? So... Like, I don't really play this game, you know, for the sake of just beating stuff. I don't think that's the point. It's a game you play to see what's going on, and to see what's out there. Okay, no catsuit, but that's okay. Because we're going to go down to flag and get bounced around some more. So, thank you for that, Aeolian. Glad to get back to all of these after many months away. And we'll move on with the queue. Let me just check the list quickly. And yeah, as I was saying to Taldir earlier, we're not going to repeat Sub Next just yet until we have more subs come in, if they do. Just for the sake of getting through people who have not yet been played at all today. So thank you for the patience of everybody waiting. Let me take a look at this layout as you were talking about. Yeah, there is that branching structure, I see. And Lord Luke 804, thank you for checking in. We will plug in that code. Okay, serving up hot taters. One of those go fast and be smart levels that the youths are always talking about. Is that what they talk about on a playground these days? I guess it is. I mean, if they're talking about serving up hot taters, maybe there is hope for their generation yet. But anyway, this is from early March, from almost 2 weeks ago. World record of about 45 seconds, and we'll see how we managed to serve up a game of hot potato. And Cordial Snail, welcome in. Oh, hot potato level. Let's not do that. Hot potato level indicates to me that it is going to be one of those where you carry a bomb. And you carried a bomb, but you have to hit the P-switch, the bomb comes down. And then you have to up-throw the bomb because that's the only object I'll be able to manipulate in order to get up to the on-off switch. Then I carry it through the door and keep it alive. Quickly. Okay. So, let's do that. I feel like I don't want... Oh, no. The bomb's gonna wander off quite a ways. And... Oh, that's okay. No, we don't actually need to carry it through the door, do we? Maybe we do. Let's come back here and do this once again. Luckily, we do get the opportunity to retry. Although, here's something we can do. Take the Buzzy and use the Buzzy to nuke the next room. Can we do that? It's not a great idea. We can do that, but it doesn't get us very far. Thought I'd check that anyway. Okay, hot potato. Let's go through the door. Reserve that thing. Oh, no. That's okay. We have a shell. Except, I think we probably needed to continue taking the hot potato through. Don't we? Because a thwomp is going to hit that. And we don't have a bomb to get through the final gate. Yes, okay. So that will be death. So yeah, we generally need to be much faster, and Charlie Charlie's 22, hello. And yeah, Aeolian, thank you for coming by and sending us the Super World once again. Good to see some more of your levels after all this time. Okay. Okay. No. I need to bump that. I think I actually need to put down the bomb and then grab the shell and use the shell to activate the switch and then pick up the bomb once again. So wearing it as a shelmet is not in fact the right idea. It doesn't really even help us with the thwomp, the next segment, either, so... oh, that actually made it. Not as crisp as jumping and throwing, in terms of time spent. Losing way too much time to the bomb here. And surely somebody can help Safety of Man with the eel in Super Mario 64 while we're at it. Nope. That's just a straight miss. And okay. Going to be about a 40-second total on this, but we do know that we're going to expend the bomb in the next segment after this one. Kind of a bad throwing location there. We do want it to go upslope and to hit everything on the way up, but not quite like that. Yeah, bad idea. Too much distance there. And Charlie Charlie, the queue is open, yeah. Just use the add command. We are not closed up just yet. Whoops. No, we don't want to do that. Let me think about this. Do I want to drop the bomb? Because if I throw the bomb in this location, then I throw the shell, then I jump down here, and then I continue with the bomb. But if I jump down here, am I actually going to grab a bomb that's already ignited? Good question, because the idea is that... yeah, I should come here on the assumption that I will not, in fact, have the shelmet. So I toss the bomb here, toss the bomb in this gap, and then activate the thwomp quickly enough to drop it. Okay, that's the idea. And yeah, no, Taldir, I know the whole concept is that the bomb timer resets when you go through a door. It's just that, like, I've played many of these levels before, and including one yesterday at the beginning of the stream, in fact. But, you know, there is a particular sequence that you need to do in a given room in order to execute it quickly, and that's what I'm trying to figure out is how to speed up certain things that I'm clearly doing too slowly in order to keep the bomb alive. But, yeah, we'll be fine without hints for the time being, but thank you for offering. I do like the process of figuring things out. Nope, that's a bad idea. Yeah, it's gonna be... toss the bomb and then grab the shell, which... yeah, when you see the shell drop down like that, my first instinct is to wear it, but I don't think we have the time to wait for a second shell that is grabbable. So, let's just try this once again. Nope, miss. And yes, Charlie, as I was saying, use the add command and the level code should be correctly processed. Okay. Here we go. And yeah, Safety and Man, it will be very interesting to hear about your progression through All-Stars in terms of, you know, seeing that evolution from 64 to Sunshine to Galaxy. I haven't played Galaxy in the All-Stars collection yet, but it was a genuine revelation of a game when it first came out on Wii. And so yeah, I have a very, very high opinion of it. Oh, no. I think I accidentally did an up throw there, and that's the issue. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a weird room, I think, because the shell is going to fall. But then I need to grab it, and it's kind of like I need to curve here, throw the bomb, and then grab the shell. Okay. Let me think about that. And down we go. Okay. Here we are. And then, oh, no, too late. Too late because I just missed, but that was the right method. That was, in fact, correct. So, we'll just take this. Do it once again. Oops. Come on. Here we are. Yeah, the slope there when you're running at full speed doesn't quite lower the top buzzy by enough. It's sort of a weird interaction there because you do need to pull back a little bit on your speed. Because if you're going too fast, the top buzzy is still on top of the slope rather than on it, and the bomb just doesn't hit during the slide. I think that's the issue there that I'm encountering, but I'll have to try that room again a few times and see if we can kind of clean up our spacing and technique to see if we can clean that up. Okay, no, I'm standing too close, actually, and the first shell is actually killing the bomb from collision before I've properly released it for a throw. So I should be throwing earlier, and that should fix the problem, because it's currently not detecting that as a throw at all, simply because I'm going too late on the release. Yeah, again, ramming into it too much here. And Taldir, you have one green star left. And which green star is that, pray tell? Unless, of course, you're talking about the one that is, you know, the one that's actually the finale of Galaxy, like the little party at the end, which isn't really a level exactly. No. Messed it up again. Yeah. It is a little bit strange to have this shell dispenser work that way. Because even if you read the room accurately, maybe I'm supposed to just go under the shell and just pass it completely for the initial bomb drop. Then there would be a little bit of back and forth there. I'm not sure that's going to be correct either, so... whoops. But yeah, nice early release is going to destroy Fuzzy's up to slope. And we'll just do that as much as we possibly can. Okay. Okay, yeah, nice early release will do the trick. Okay. There we go. Finally got it. And then, yeah, we did need to hit that on the first try. But we have everything up to this point. Okay, so just a couple of things to clean up in terms of technique, but as long as we can throw accurately into that one-tile gap, we do in fact have the right timings to work with. Once again, just going to throw that a little bit better. Okay, that feels pretty smooth once you do in fact execute it properly. Nope, too late. I feel like I do need to throw and then get on top of the left side right away instead of falling back down. That's going to be a little bit tricky. Unless I jump up here first and then throw, which might be a solution. I feel like maybe the idea is supposed to be like release and then go left. But yeah, should be able to do that. Let me just kind of practice that motion a few times. And it's going to be weird, I think. I don't know if I want to be doing it that way. Because quite often I can see already that I'm going to have issues with accidentally throwing it to the left if I use that method. So I'll have to find a better method for getting through that that will get me to the swamp just a tiny bit earlier. Do I think they'll ever have a 3D Mario Maker? I find that questionable. I think the various rule sets in 3D Mario are a bit too divergent for that. And also that, you know, the kind of control that you have over design, I think, would be a little bit of a mess in terms of, you know, how are you going to make the play space bounded, and what kind of interaction are you going to have in the physics system between the various elements to kind of make it feel like a coherent package, right? Whereas in something like 2D Mario, you know, Mario Maker is this kind of compromise between all the different rule sets of the original games, where you do have a lot of the game-specific interactions and items, etc., but, you know, all of them are kind of bent in very specific ways to make the standard non-3D world styles kind of interoperable. I have trouble seeing a 3D Mario Maker as having that kind of elegance, but on the other hand, there clearly is like some kind of demand for it in terms of people who dream about that concept the way they, you know, dream about Zelda Maker and Mario Kart Maker and so on. But I think it would be a massive implementation challenge because, you know, much of the appeal of Mario Maker is that it has a certain elegance and simplicity to it, even if many of the specific rules and interactions are actually quite arcane. Nope. Have to jump up, throw, grab the shell, throw. Yeah. I think that room can be a little bit difficult to read blind, but after a few resets, it's not hard to figure out what it's supposed to be. It's just that you kind of need to try it out mechanically and see if the plan is actually going to work as you imagine. Okay. Because the thing about 3D Mario is that the games don't even share an idea of what an objective should be. Like, they don't really have the same kind of concept when it comes to, you know, what a level looks like, right? And as opposed to a hub or a play space or kind of a hybrid of the two, which is what you see sometimes in the Galaxy games. Not to mention that it would just be a massive implementation challenge on the developer's side. Like, I think the thing that sort of makes a lot of Mario Maker work is that the various physics and such are very easily comprehensible. That despite all the edge cases in the rule set, that there is a great deal of simplicity on this from the part of the player, where you have to kind of remember that despite the ubiquity of 3D games ever since the N64 era, a significant number of people, significant number of players, never really adapted to 3D games and specifically 3D cameras. And this is something that, people at Nintendo like Miyamoto have talked about in the past as well, that side-scrollers kind of give you the benefit of not having to fuss with camera control. We made the same mistake. And I think people often forget, when you're just kind of accustomed to playing 3D games, what an accessibility barrier that really is. That camera design is really kind of an art and craft on its own when it comes to 3D platforming layouts. I mean, even in 2D platforming like this, I'm kind of critiquing camera-related issues in this 2D layout all the time, right? And nope, that's going to be a failure. Okay. And I think that's a whole dimension of, potential design pitfalls that really shouldn't be underestimated. I keep forgetting in this room. Like, even when you know what the interaction is, I find that this room is really kind of difficult too. Like, it's not very intuitive, I guess, where maybe it's something about the placement of the shell dispenser here, where it's very easy to just kind of have habits of reading a level take over and lead you to do the wrong thing. I think it's the way that it's introducing two things at once. It's introducing the fact that you do need to kind of drop the bomb and reclaim it, and not, in a way to hit enemies, but in terms of having to do other timed interactions in the interim. Which by itself is a good design idea, it's fine. But when it's also being introduced alongside this kind of element of decision-making, where you have to make a snap decision as to what you do with the shell. When you have like a pipe dispenser that very strongly kind of implies wearing it, like that, I think it's a lot of information to process upon entry into the room. I mean, I think the general design idea is fine, like in a sort of self-contained sense. And it's probably just the spacing of the pipe and how easy it is to claim the helmet that makes it seem a little bit unintuitive. When you actually do execute that accurately, it feels great. Here we go. Checkpoint. Yeah, of course we're doing it. Okay, just a mushroom. Looks like a P jump to me. Okay. Okay, that was fairly readable. That wasn't too bad either. No, that needed to be a shell. Okay. Yeah, once again, that's going to be drop kick the Buzzy and then pick up the bomb. Or maybe throw the bomb over the pipe once again, as we had done previously. This is one of those things where you don't know until you fall into the trap that the mushroom is actually required. Like, it's kind of an off-screen interaction. But, yeah, no need to throw the bomb, of course. We can just tap the switch. Okay. No. Too early. I want to jump on the Buzzy, but I don't want to lose the bomb while doing it. Okay. And that's sort of important, because I can't just kick the Buzzy from the side while I'm holding the bomb. Because the bomb will die to that. No, the timing's totally off here. I do need to bump the Buzzy first. Like, jump on the Buzzy, throw the bomb, then claim the Buzzy, then fire the shell. I do like that element of having to figure out sequences like that when you do see a room. It's one of those things, though, where, you know, when you do figure it out, then the next thing is sort of recognizing what kind of execution barrier there will be. And yeah, Safety Man, I know the exact segment you're talking about when it comes to the water manipulation. I always did find the caps in Mario 64 to be a little bit strange. Okay, way too slow on that. Way too slow. That's maybe not right at all. Yeah, I need to jump immediately on the Buzzy and immediately throw the bomb, and then do the kick and go. Okay, there we go. I probably should have taken the risk of letting the bomb walk a little bit longer. But, nope. Once again, was trying to get on top of the Buzzy completely. Throw, and then kick. And maybe that's not right. And yeah, Safety Man, I think that's a good observation that, you know, it's very much a case of them wanting to show off what the N64 and the transition of 3D, transition to 3D rather, was letting them do. It's the same kind of thing with Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, in fact, that you can see how much of Luigi's Mansion design was very much, you know, hardware driven. That's the wrong sequence entirely. That takes way too long. But it's not going to be just a shell kick directly, though. It can't be. Maybe I do need to like put the bomb down instead of trying to reclaim it. But let's see what's actually through here. Yeah, bomb gate. And Terminator, welcome. Okay, I guess we will be going back to sub-Q after this, since Terminator is going to join us today with Shell Surfing 5. No, I can just carry it. Yeah, okay, I just need to jump carefully such that I don't lose the bomb to accidentally tapping the shell with it. And yeah, Safety Man, that's actually one of those really nice touches when it comes to the entrance to Jolly Roger Bay. Very subtle touch. I remember first noticing that on the DS version for some reason. But I felt like I knew Mario 64 in the DS port actually better than I knew the N64 original. But I think I spent quite a lot more time with the DS port in terms of actually mastering it. It has been a long, long time since I've looked at it now. Yeah, lots of really intriguing ideas in the 64 DS port. In fact, that just never came back. Okay. Okay, that's safe. And that's the goal. Thank you for that. That's a win. Now, I know our uptime has only been at about 2 hours or so far, but Q will be closing fairly soon, so this is going to be last call for additional submissions. Otherwise, we're going to run into all kinds of trouble. Considering that, you know, I also said last night that I was going to try to keep the queue short, and we ended up running about 5 hours anyway, which was definitely kind of pushing it, given that I did have a commitment not long afterwards. Yeah, Terminator, it's not you yet. We're going through Taldir. Just one more short level. These are fairly short. And then it's going to be next, and then it's going to be sub-next for Terminator. It's just that, you know, when we just have one sub or so just kind of hanging around who has already been played, I don't go through to sub-next queue just to keep things under control. So don't worry, it's going to be, I think, a relatively short wait. Yeah, okay. Airship Infiltration Part 3. Bowser has sent a Boom Boom to defeat Mario. Now you have to defeat him. And yeah, congratulations, Lord Luke, on your 100th like. Lots more to come from here, I'm sure. Yeah, and hopefully that was a helpful playtest as well, in terms of, you know, even if you feel completely done with that level, which would be completely fair, I like being fairly thorough anyway, in case that informs decisions about future creations. So, enjoyed playing that. Enjoyed the piping hot taters. Okay. Boom Boom's going to be all big and floaty here. I'm going to just run forward and see if we actually need him. Oh, whoops. Still very unclear in my geographical location. Yeah, I would like to, you know, kind of keep people on their toes. Trust me, stream scheduling information is not going to tell you anything on that score, Safety of Man, given that I have never really had much of a human sleeping schedule, shall we say. I just, I think I operate on what I call a Korean StarCraft time, because for the longest time I would watch StarCraft tournaments in South Korea while they were live, and so I was kind of living in various places across the world, many time zones apart while that was happening, and of course in all of those, Korean StarCraft time was equally inconvenient. Oh yeah, clear condition. That's what's going on here. We do have to kill Boom Boom. No game audio. Let me fix that once again. And yeah, just give me a moment here to do the repair. Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting to kind of follow a lot of StarCraft broadcasts in their prime, because that was actually secretly where Gangnam Style actually kind of exploded in popularity. Like, it was kind of coming from that community, and that's how it was gradually seeded and introduced into the West. Okay, clear condition level, we can just start from the beginning. But yeah, no, I've been in many different time zones. I've been in a fairly consistent one since I started streaming. But, of course, you know, we've also been in pandemic conditions since then, and that has also perturbed the calendar. And yeah, Lord Luke, in terms of StarCraft 1, that actually did kind of make a bit of a comeback in recent years. Around the same time that Smash Melee was, you know, kind of undergoing a renaissance as well. Because there are, you know, things that are very unique to their movesets and engines that still gives them a lot of competitive depth after all this time, right? Okay, pretty straightforward. Really on me here that I didn't really think about the clear condition until I'd reached the goal. And that's just, you know, my problem with not reading that properly. So I guess, you know, if it's in the context of a super world that's meant to be a kind of midpoint. Seems, you know, pretty straightforward. You work your way up to the Boom Boom. You bob him, you get out of there. I think there is maybe a bit of plainness to that, but it works well in sequence with the other parts, I suppose. So thank you for that, Aldir. And yeah, Meng, I guess we are in the same time zone. And yeah, Lord Luke, I find StarCraft 1 and Brood War incredibly hard, but I'm more accustomed to StarCraft 2, but I did, you know, play the original game while it was current, and get back to the campaign at least during the remaster. I don't know if you played it with the Carbot Animation skin, which is really quite a treat. What am I looking at? I'm looking at next. And that's going to be Meng. Oh yes, I did say I was going to close the queue, so I am going to do so now. So, give me one moment while I hit close on this. And also update my stream title and the Warp World bot. If we miraculously get through the entirety of the queue with plenty of time to spare, I will reopen. That sometimes happens. I do not expect it to happen with the crowd we have today, because I know that several of you send me stuff that takes time. But, you know, you never know. Never say never, but yeah, so what's going to happen is it's going to be actually a fairly short queue, but, you know, Meng levels can take a little bit of time sometimes, and Terminator levels can do so as well, so it's going to be Meng, it's going to be Terminator on sub next, and then we'll get through the rest of the list after that, and we'll see. Wow, the game audio really is repeatedly burning out today, isn't it? Yeah, let me let's try to see if we have more permanent fix. And thank you for the follow. Yeah, it's been burning out a lot this stream. Sometimes it only does so once, and sometimes it doesn't do that at all, and today it's just been glitchy. Glitchy. So thank you for keeping an eye, or rather an ear, open for that. And let's see what Meng has to offer. So Meng, do you have a particular recommendation? My choice? Okay. Probably going to check clear rates for some of this. Let's see. And clear times, just to see if there's anything particularly quick to approach. No, we're going to have to work on something, so we'll just take a look at Bowser on a seesaw, because placing Bowser on a seesaw was both innovative and brave. And of course, Hideo Kojima would know. So, let's look into some Seesaw Stranding. Gilmore with a record on this, 1.5 minutes or so. Gilmore does like to optimize a lot of records on this kind of thing, so we'll... Okay, well that's definitely Bowser on a seesaw. I mean, no points off for false advertising. And if we... okay. We'll just bounce on him this way. There's a bridge platform under there, so that's not going to do anything, I think. Like, it's not going to make contact. Yes, it is. And that's the concept of the level. Except it's not quite how we're doing it here. Okay. It's going to be a bounce, and then... yeah, I see. Okay. I think I kind of understand, in fact. That's we know that the bridge platform is not going to prevent the ground pound, or downward stab from Link, rather, from doing a seesaw activation. So, Lord Luke, thank you. And Taldir, thank you as well for the submissions and for dropping by. Yeah, hope to see more from all of you soon. Viewer levels will return over the weekend. We'll be doing some other stuff until then, I'm sure. Nope. We've played Mang levels. We should be able to master these by now. Yeah, it's supposed to go up and then pound, and then we're just going to stab our way up top. Whoops. Why is my down button not doing as it is told? That is a slight unexpected issue. Oh, okay, I don't know why Link was not... oh, it's because of my Vine direction, because in SMP1 style, my Vine direction is actually going to affect the collision with the wall, and so I do have to climb on the right side, and I believe that was the issue we were running into. Come on, downward stab. We have to do that a bit more consistently. Nope. Flipped. Well. Okay. Nope. Once again, I don't know what it is I'm doing wrong with Link there. That's making me load it. Okay, no. I do have to climb this from the left side, it seems, in order to enter the bumpers accurately. I was misreading what the solution was there. In fact, I'm going to try it quickly before we do anything. No, need to hold the jump button, of course. No, something's... okay, no, you do have to climb on the right side. But hold the jump button and then go like that. There we are. Okay, so no, I was correct the first time. And... yeah, we'll see. Yeah, for those of you new here, I usually do kind of keep the queue open longer when it's short. It's just that, you know, I do have some other stuff going on that I need to plan around, so I can occasionally get some sleep. Whoops. But in the meantime, we will wreck everybody's schedule in the same way that I have already wrecked my own. Love the kind of backwards bounce on this, actually. It's very satisfying in a way that was kind of unexpected. Even after having played a number of levels where you downward stab all the time with this guy here. No, you just need to bounce off the Goomba. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. This level originated as a joke on a Kavik stream a year ago. Oh, I see, because somebody submitted a boss fight that was just Bowser on a seesaw. Well, I mean... whoops. As in, Bowser was just not even on a muncher, he was just, standing on a seesaw. Well, I mean, if Kojima liked it, surely there was something going on there with that concept. Whoops. Oh, bad idea. Okay, no sound effect. That's disappointing. Not that you needed one, but, you know, I see a block like that and I think, okay, let's check it for a big sound or something. Just in case. You never know. Okay. Right side of the vine. Nope. Need to hold. Jump. Bounce up. Okay, and we bounce. And then, oh, no. And then we do, in fact, need to stab because of the release of the thwomp. That is now clear. Okay. I just didn't really read that accurately at all. Okay. Oh, whoops. Yeah, interesting diagonal track there. Looking like it's just, you know, bracing the part here up top, but actually giving you the subtle indication of where the bounce is going to take you. Whoops. I guess it's mostly a bit of an aesthetic touch, but it does kind of guide the diagonal in its own way. Nope. Okay. There we go. And there we go. Okay, nearly missed that, but hey, Electro Dude, welcome. No, I don't know why I tried to bounce to the left, probably because I saw the key door and thought, oh, key door, something's going to happen, even though I've seen no evidence of anything giving me the key. And so that was unwise. We can do better than that. And MSB Chicken, welcome. And yeah, MSB Chicken, hope you're having a perfectly purple day. Okay, here we are. Going to go around that, go up above the Piranha Plant, and then see what happens. Oh, I see. I'm supposed to land on top of Bowser, and then that takes me up to the key, except I was not really going straight. Electro Dude, I went on for far too long yesterday, yes. We have very few in queue right now, I just don't know how long it'll take me, so... Don't know if I will be able to reopen. Particularly because I do have another commitment a few hours after the conclusion of the stream, which was the same thing as today, actually. I mean, the reason I sort of intended to close early yesterday which did not save me any time at all, was because I was playing a competition today. And I'm only halfway through. I do have a second day to go, so... Whoops. Yeah, I've been playing... Whoops. A fairly sizable online Scrabble tournament. For those of you who may have seen me play what Mang calls the fake words game on stream from time to time. I've not been streaming my boards, but, you know, because I was kind of sorting out how everything was working, and also because I had already talked about Mario Maker for 5 hours last night. But, yeah, I played 8 rounds today. I have 5 more scheduled tomorrow, and we have... well, we've had kind of a series of wild swings so far. I am currently on a 4-4 record, somewhere in the middle of the pack. And some games have gone well, and some games have gone disastrously. And that's just how it goes. Didn't really prepare for it or anything. But, I think people are just kind of happy to have, you know, some kind of organized competition again from time to time, even if it's not in person. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the DefineBot open, Mang, while I'm playing Mario. Maybe I should, in fact. That's not a terrible idea. But no, what Mang was just attempting there was that when I do play Scrabble on stream, I have a word lookup bot, so you can see the definitions of some of the stranger things that you see played on the board. Okay. And of course, you know, I'm seeing you try to define Scrobler in there. And my first thought is, let's check to see if there are any anagrams in there that are actually valid. I don't think there are, but you never know until you check. And make an attempt at doing a bit of an unscrambling. So yeah, there actually is streaming coverage of the tournaments. That will be up tomorrow, but I probably will not be one of the people being broadcast because I'm not, you know, really in serious contention right now. But I'll actually shout out the channel that's going to be doing it. Because if you want to see word games, this is the guy to look at. He is a former world champion. No, sorry, former North American champion, not world champion, although he does very well in that circuit as well. But he's been doing plenty of word game streams lately. Not just Scrabble, but also some, you know, independent games on Steam where, you know, you would have educational word games and such that were really not designed to take the efforts of a former North American Scrabble champion at full blast. But yeah, very entertaining guy to watch. But yeah, he's not playing in this competition, but he is going to be running the broadcast sometime tomorrow, and I generally just recommend following him anyway. You just saw a level created inspired by your Shell Surf levels where you spin on a chain chomp. I've seen a lot of that concept though. I don't know if that was specifically inspired by your thing unless you had somebody just tell you. Hey Terminator, I saw your shell level by the seashore. But yeah, I've seen lots of sort of chain chomp rodeo levels. here and there. Seems to be a fairly popular concept, in fact. And for good reason, just given the bouncy nature of the chumps. Oops, no. Okay. Everything fine so far on this attempt. I know what the sequence is supposed to be here, I just occasionally execute poorly. Nope, didn't hold the jump well enough to get full height there. More like chain jumps, yeah. Pretty much. Safety of men. Gotta say, Chain Chomps definitely had a good run of it in Odyssey. You know, you would have that one particular rabbit boss that had her pet golden chomp. And you would, of course, be able to capture the chomps from very early on in the Cascade Kingdom. You could have Tyrannosaurs interact with the chomps. Just quite a good workout for the chomps for once. Oh, whoops. You don't think there's any enemy that kills you more in Maker 2? I'm trying to think about what enemy would in fact kill me the most in Maker 2, and that is a good question. I mean, I don't know if Munchers count. Munchers just kind of sit there, but given how many setups just require on Muncher collision squashing you or something, or using them as some kind of POW block check, I would not be surprised if it were the Munchers. It's funny because Munchers are just such a relatively minor presence in the original games. And then here they just have immense power simply because they actually collide with stuff, right? That in the absence of any other consistent blocking tiles that are mobile and that can activate switches and do all these other things. Munchers have really been upgraded in some ways. They've earned a couple of promotions here just from partaking this game the way they do. But just amazing what Munchers make possible. No. But yeah, chain chumps. You should submit that idea to the YouTube channel Game Grumps, I guess. I've never actually watched that, but I just know that there's a particular guy from Game Grumps who was, you know, making tons of popular levels in Maker 1 and 2 that were reportedly kind of bad. Given that, you know, sometimes you see stuff that's inexplicably popular and it's relative to its quality, and it's usually because there's some kind of YouTube sensation behind it. I actually don't really follow Mario Maker YouTube, so... no, same mistake over there where I was veering right once again instead of going through the key door. That's a simple thing to fix. Also, given that Gilmore's record on this is 1.5 minutes, I'm sure we have lots to go. But yeah, we'll see how much of this we'll get through in this sitting. Oh, whoops. Your intro for Chomps was Mario 64. Oh, right, because no, I remember actually, Safety, when you were first coming to the stream that you had not played SMB3 at the time. Like, that has suddenly jogged my memory for it, because I gave you the homework assignment to play SMB3. I vaguely recall that anyway. I think that was you. And whoops. Not a good memory, just a very selective one in some ways. But yeah, no, it's been kind of interesting to see after several months off of Twitch just what actually does come back to me when I, see people who used to hang out here and used to submit me things. Okay, let's go straight down and towards the key door. There we go. See, it's not hard. We have to do homework on the stream. Mag, if you were paying attention, you'll notice, for instance, that Electrodude is always doing homework on the stream. Practically every stream. But in terms of Mario-related homework, yeah, I'll come up with some kind of assignment. It's okay. I offer extensions. And sort of remember in undergrad there were certain courses where I kind of agreed with the policy of the assignments being worth 0 credit because they would just mostly be there as learning and feedback experiences, and it wouldn't be a strike against you if you just, made mistakes or, for that matter, just didn't do them. And very often I would just not do them because if they're worth 0 credit, well, I mean, if I don't feel like I need them for preparing for the examination, then why would I allocate my time that way, right? So you'll come up with some sort of excuse for not doing it, yeah. Boom Boom ate your homework. And, okay, there we go. Okay, up once again. And here. Note once again, a little bit low on that jump for some reason. I was holding it, but I think I was holding into it a bit late. And yeah, thank you to the patience once again of those in queue. I know I'm kind of failing on the easy stuff. But, yeah, speaking of time zones, whoops. No, not speaking of time zones. Yeah, speaking of time zones, no, Safety of Man, I vaguely remembered as well, like in the deep recesses of my recollection, that you were in Central. Because we had been talking about jazz clubs in Chicago. And the reason that comes to mind is because just the other day when we were doing that stream of some of Donkeyman's levels, I was remarking on how whenever I have the SMB2 mushroom and I pick up the clouds that are kind of acting as a bit of a mushroom check to make sure you have the SMB2 power, oh, you moved to LA, okay, but you'll still get this. So whenever I see the clouds that are, placed over doors or placed over pipes, etc., to check that you have in fact kept the SMB2 power up, I always think of them as a cloud gate. And as someone who lived in Chicago, you know what immediately comes to mind with the words cloud gate. Oops. So much for Roy. Looks like Roy number 3 was going to be the end of us there, just from poor stomping technique. And no, I'm not thinking of the one in Midway, I'm thinking of the one in Millennium Park, like the Anish Kapoor bean sculpture. Like, because the Cloud Gate is like literally, you know, the sort of official name of the bean, right? Although now I'm trying to think about what you might be mentioning at Midway. Okay. Here we are. Let's just go. There we are. Nope, lost a sword. And we regained a sword. Okay, excellent. Reset door down here. Okay, that's... I won't say concerning, but at least we have some refreshes on the sword. That tells me that there's going to be a big climb here. With some elements that may require reset. You can see in that pit on the right side. That pit is the reset pit. I wonder how that bounce happened, huh? Interesting. Okay, there we go. No. Wow. No. That arc taking me all the way to the saw blade is never what I expect. Something is going on there that is catching me off guard, and... Oh, it's because I'm probably expecting to bounce on Bowser down below. And that's not what's going on at all. Like, I'm just kind of cranking all the way to the right, and there's no need to do so because the actual interaction here is to stomp this. And then dodge some Bowser fire and miss. The neon light installation at O'Hara with a long tunnel. Yeah, I know what you mean. There was an animated film I saw a few years ago on the festival circuit, and I don't think it ever actually got a wide release, but it was a really interesting film called, oh jeez, slide. Called the Ruben Brandt Collector, which was this Hungarian art heist film. It was dubbed in English, like they have an English voice track. But it was an independent feature film from Hungary, I think. That was about like psychoanalytical art thieves, and they would, you know, kind of go around the world to steal famous paintings for therapeutic reasons. And I just kind of remember seeing, you know, at one point they go to Chicago to steal Edward Hopper's Nighthawks from the Art Institute, and there's this really interesting kind of animated rendition of the neon light corridor in O'Hare. Anyway, really interesting. That catches me off guard all the time, landing on top of that semi-solid. Yeah, really interesting film, and I just don't know if it ever actually got wide distribution because I was just watching on a festival circuit at the time, and of course, you know, that was maybe about 2 years ago. And if they had some kind of distribution deal for it, it might have been scuttled by the pandemic. But I'm not really sure. Yeah, no, I'm just failing to plan around it every time. You get tons of momentum going into that segment unless you deliberately try to jump again or just cut momentum like I did on one previous attempt when I did survive up by the one-way panels. Yeah, I don't know why I keep trying to ground stomp out of that. It's kind of a conditioned habit at this point that, you know, you do the side bounce and you think, okay, great, stomp on Bowser. That is not what happens at that location. Whoops. Yes, safety man, Ruben Brandt. That's correct. No, not to stop. Not to stop. So, yeah, because I don't think it's on any streaming services or anything. At least not last I checked. But yeah, very entertaining film. Nope. But I imagine quite hard to track down. Otherwise, I would have, tried to give it a second look. No. But yeah, around the time that I saw it, I didn't see it in Chicago, but I was spending a lot of time in Chicago around that year, and so it was kind of amusing to see how it was rendered in a Hungarian animated feature. And you can buy it on YouTube there in Germany. Okay, excellent. Actually, Mang, I think you would get a lot of that, given, well, just sort of given my sense of your aesthetic. Okay, there we go. There's another Bowser. That's multiple Bowsers on seesaws. I guess that one's not on a seesaw, at least not yet. Okay. Let's see. Ice was kind of relevant here. I do need to slide somehow. Oh, no. I need to do this. Slide, and then probably tap the Bowser somehow to get up onto the upper level. I'm not quite sure about that. Let's take a look. You're interested in the Japanese interpretation of the Italian experience. Whoops. I mean, the Japanese interpretation of the Italian experience, isn't that just Mario? I mean, maybe not the Italian experience specifically, but just... Yeah, because Mario was just the name of, like, Miyamoto's former neighbor or something, right? Like, if I recall. Like, I remember reading something about the, real-life namesake for Super Mario. Okay. Alright, let's figure out what that down arrow is telling me about the Link interaction here. Maybe I need a shield into that. Yeah, slide and shield, maybe. No? Oh, he's gonna jump. Okay, great. That's convenient. Whoa. And then we do the Bowser bounce to get up on the upper level, okay. So, that Bowser's not really on a seesaw, so that doesn't quite qualify, but this one will be. Oh. Not quite what we're looking for here. Oh, I see. We probably need to... Bounce him up. And then he bounces down. And when he bounces down, does that give me a window of opportunity? No, I need to go under him and then bounce from right to left. Nope. No. I need to kind of sneak under there and then wrap around. I think that's clearly the intended interaction. I just haven't been able to execute it. Oh. Okay. Very impressive of Gilmore to get this down to 1:30, but I guess that's just mostly a matter of consistency. And here, of course, consistency is going to be not readily achievable, just given, Bowser being Bowser. mean, I don't just want to... Like, is there a possibility that we just kill him? I don't know how I made him jump previously. Okay. Nope, bad idea. Probably even slip some bombs in there. But, you know, getting him to jump up previously seemed to be the right idea, and I don't know how to repeat that in terms of manipulating its position, but... Oh. That's okay. It doesn't feel like I've been on this one that long, but that's because I've been taking some of it pretty patiently. And still getting it wrong. Okay. Oh hey, he's going to cooperate. He's going to partially cooperate. Partially cooperate. Stop jumping. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, we need to hit the seesaw closer to the center. There we go. And up the pipe, and here's another Roy segment. That's going to be a drop followed by bounce on Roy, and then we didn't get enough height, but that is the right idea. It's just that I need to go low enough to get under the one-way panels, but then go high enough to get on Roy comfortably. And okay. Nope. Miscalculated that. And downward thrust is going to cut right through the piranha plant and then hit Roy. I wonder... Oh, okay, because that prevents a jump on top of Roy's head. That's the idea behind that design. Which kind of makes me wonder why Roy specifically, because... you know, his unique thing is, of course, just the burrow and wall drop interactions. And... whoops. I guess he's not quite showing off that skill set here. Okay. Just pause for a moment to orient myself, and then, okay, let's go. Pretty careful dodge there. Nope. Yeah, because it's going to be down against Roy, and then down against Roy again, and then there's going to be a thwomp activated on-off switch a little bit further to the right, which is going to do something that we have not yet seen. No, I do need to do a little bit of a short hop near the end, I think. Because otherwise the seesaw will go too low. Or I just need to run off of that faster before it goes all the way down. Okay. Nope, too high. Okay. No. In general, this is not the right approach. Oh, also notice that that Roy is, in fact, coming out to play. Sadly, we will not be fighting. Okay, that was accurate, that was not accurate. So it's going to be Piranha Roy, on-off switch, activate something. And then we'll see how much is left of this segment after that. Nope. That one-up would have been momentarily helpful. You know, I have to recover some of those lives that we have been so carelessly spending. There we go. Okay, no, I lost it. And here I am looking ahead to that mole and wondering about its vulnerability to the bomb if you get it within bomb range. Nope. Yeah, still not doing that quite right. Just need to find a method that feels consistent but also easy to execute. And there probably is just an optimal timing to just slide gently off the seesaw. I don't want to be jumping in that corner. Yeah, also I guess the on-off switch is just going to drop those Roy stacks. I mean, you are limited to 7 of those, so it's not like that many Roys will come out to play all at the same time. No. Still not doing this very elegantly. There's a particular timing, I think, that will allow me to slide gently off, and we just haven't been able to locate that successfully with any sort of regularity. So... okay, there we go. That kind of works. No. Bounce to the left. We need to bounce a little bit to the right. And that is partly going to be faced on my facing direction. This isn't Roy's castle. No, it really isn't. Nobody said anything about Roy on a seesaw. Okay. Up we go. Okay. No, bad idea. Yeah, we just needed to bounce on Bowser and occasionally tap him if we can, but no, I was trying to bomb that mole just to see what would happen. Because it seemed like it would be a fancy play. Okay. Yeah, I just needed to get a little bit to the right. Go to Roy. There. Okay, that was fairly quick. We just need to do that. And then go through the key door, but that muncher up there, up top, makes me think that, yeah, we seem to have missed something. Do I get enough jump height to grab the key, take damage, and get back here? Of course we're going to try it, right? Of course we're going to try it. Yeah. That could have gone slightly better. I feel like I am supposed to get enough height off that, though, if I just don't play terribly. Nope. Yeah, it's sort of interesting what's going on with the muncher up that top track. I mean, I guess it's there to partly maybe act as a ceiling or constraint? I don't know. Okay. Oh, I actually managed to get onto lower level that time, past that spike. If only Link had some kind of arrow shooting device. You know what? If only. Okay. Here we go. Nope. Landed on a spike down on the lower level. That was unwise. Yeah, I guess since Bowser is on top of the mole stack, the seesaw collision will leave him unaffected. So it's not really Bowser on a seesaw. More like Bowser overlaying a seesaw. Feels like we don't have the right prepositions for describe that sort of thing. Nope. But if you do kill the mold, then Bowser just sort of winds up floating on top of the Boo, right? Okay, yeah. Timing on that downward seesaw is working a little better now, at least. Okay. Now, if only... No, we're not leaving that untouched. No, of course not. We got all the way here. We're definitely taking a look. With apologies to those who have been waiting a long time in the queue. Sorry, but we do optional objectives around here. Ultimately, it is for the benefit of your levels as well. So, hopefully this is a mildly watchable experience. Whoa, okay, no, needed to make a higher bounce there. Ooh, you can do better than that. Yes. Plenty of room for improvement, I guess. Anyway. Down once again. Alright, let's actually get the bounces. Okay. Yeah, that works too, as long as we survive. In that particular instance, the mole actually was killed, I think, and that's why Bowser was sort of dangling in the middle of nowhere, and when we got the kill, that caused problems. I probably should have just nuked him with the arrow at that point, given the situation. But very stylish dodge there on that round of projectiles. Let's let the Roy projectile pass. And yeah, I guess when you ground stomp like that, there is some chance that you'll just hit the Boo on the final touch if you're not careful, and so stand on top of the door, miss, hit. Okay, so here's the smiley bit. And the on-off switch has already been activated. We could take damage and get on top of the Muncher. Because if we do drop down to the lower level... Ah, here's Easter Egg Boom Boom, okay. Yeah, it wouldn't be a Mang level without the Easter Egg Boom Boom. But let's watch out for that Boo, that's very threatening down there. Okay. Now I feel complete. Except now I need to probably get down through that door on the lower level. So yeah. Well, the sniper class can only specialize in so many things. Anyway, the sniper class has proven its mettle. Let's go back to stabbing things. Nope. Bit of a bad deflection off of the last Roy over there. And here we go. Yeah, Terminator, I don't think of it so much as just a bonus secret as it is a bonus boss fight in some ways. You know, so you can kind of imagine that you're hitting the equivalent of the top of the flag as you grab the Triforce and move on. Anyway, fantastic level, man. Let's mark that as a win. Terminator, you will be next due to the sub-privileges. And hey, only 20 minutes past checkpoint. I guess I was stalling quite a bit on the early segment. And then the queue after that is going to look like this. Safety of Man, Charlie, Charlie. So yeah, if we do have room for more at the end, we'll maybe do something additional. But I don't necessarily expect it because Terminator levels can also take a bit of work sometimes. Although the SMB3 one with the frog yesterday went pretty well. And yeah, you know, I like taking my time. I feel like we get better levels compared to people who really do run with a strict time limit. Charlie, Charlie, when it is your turn, I will go to your profile. Unless there is something that is a serious matter of urgency. Wow, 0.25. Some people are having trouble with this. 42nd world record. I mean, not much timing flexibility on these in general, so we'll see what this is all about. We've got to read the line first, though, which says, "Wicked! These bones keep me moving, man." First try? Not likely, but, you know, let's not be too pessimistic. Okay, I need to let go of the jump, the dash button when I fall into a shell like that, because otherwise the pickup is just too much of a risk. No, actually, no, I need to grab that and land on top of the shell so I can throw it. Yeah, I need to land accurately and then I do up throw. That's the idea. I wonder why you would go for bone shell specifically there then. Whoops. And given that so often the bone shell just sort of encourages the player to do a landing, particularly because you have the whole spike platform set up here, right? Because the bone shell allows you to sit on top of spikes. So for example, let's say we wanted to find a way to land on the bone shell. I'm going to try this a few times. It's going to blow a couple of attempts, but I want to try it this way. Okay, so let's say we do this. Let's say we do this. Oh, no. Oh, interesting. Oh, because the dash button was on. Okay. I let go dash, then I can just kind of do like a slow escort. That's probably not the intended design. Oh, right, because then that falls off. Okay. Bones are easier to grab on tracks than Buzzy Beetle. Yeah, and I guess you don't want the player wearing it either. Which would be the issue if you are jumping up towards the beetle shell on a track. Yeah, I wonder if there's a better thrown object that could be used for this stuff like this. Because the issue with the shell, obviously, is that, you know, sometimes when you have the dash button down, the hitbox is just strange. We should get that on the first cycle, though, in terms of the up throw onto the on and off switch. Once again, trying to do a bit of an adjustment after a bad landing on the right side of the Buzzy shell, and that just nukes everything. So, there we go. Except I needed to grab and rethrow that, which tells me that I need to throw it when the shell is on my right, not on my left, which is a pretty specific thing. Yeah, I need to hit, but I need to hit on a very specific directional phasing. I don't know about that, because And then we need to catch it by facing left, okay. It's very rare that that kind of thing is actually a hard requirement, right? Like in terms of knowing which way you are expected to face in the level. But okay. And yeah, Safety of Men, if you like the Bowser segments in 64, and particularly the floodless segments in Sunshine, I mean, in many ways, 3D World is really kind of the apex of development for that kind of 3D style. And then I jump onto the upper track. Once I jump onto the upper track, then we kind of follow some of the guidance of the arrows when it comes to additional switch activations. There's going to be a lot of switch activations here. Shell returns your hand on shell if you're facing forward. Okay, interesting. That doesn't seem to be the case here. It seems to be missing me completely and hitting the bottom shell. That's because I'm a little bit off-center, though. Okay. Nope. Okay, so much for that. Let's keep waiting. Nope. Shoot up at the arrow, yeah. We had a lengthy conversation yesterday, Terminator and I, about indications. Or at least I gave a lengthy monologue about indications where... you know, this is very much a matter of like maker style and player style in a way, but... having been trained more on Nintendo's official games, I read instructions very poorly. In that telling me what to do isn't actually going to make me do it, because I tend to need to really have a clear view of what my objectives are going to be. And it's very interesting kind of difference in philosophy when it comes to designing visual indications of things, like whether you are thinking mainly in terms of highlighting, you know, starting points or end points. As in goals that the player must find a way to hit, or tasks that a player is guided to do without necessarily knowing what's going to happen. And you know, some level designs are kind of a mix of both. You know what was particularly nice about the floodless segments in Sunshine, of course, was the a cappella, well, the synthesized a cappella version of the original Super Mario Bros. Theme, which by that point was actually rarely heard in the mainline games, because you know, even as a bonus, it would not always be that present. A little bit late on that, I think. I'm not landing early enough. We'll see how far we get. I am so far not surprised by how the clear rates on these have been tanked down to 0.25%, which is way below the norm for Terminator's levels, although, you know, often they're kind of designed to have a large spread of difficulty. Okay. Yeah, okay, no, we just stay on the facing direction and we do multiple switch activations then. And the multiple switch activations would be timed in such a way that if you follow the arrows, and if you throw at those precise locations, that escorts the bottom shell over the alternating on-off switches that you see lining the lower level, so... I do understand what's going on. I missed once again. Yeah, safety, I don't know if you'll have the opportunity to play 3D World in co-op as well, but co-op is really 3D World in its purest form, in some ways. I originally played it entirely in co-op. I have been playing it solo lately. And it's, you know, a very fine game solo as well. Actually, an excellent game in all of those contexts, but co-op 3D World is something that is truly wild. And of course they have online now too, but I don't quite know how the network performance is with that when it comes to the online play. Oops. And yeah, I think, you know, the trick to co-op is that you do kind of ideally need a partner who's going to keep pace with you and operate at a very similar level of skill, and I know it's kind of rare to come by for most people. I was very fortunate to have that for both. The co-op entries in New Super Mario Bros., as in the Wii and U game, as well as for 3D World. So I was very fortunate to have an equally skilled family member at a time. Because then, you know, the pace of duo play can be very frantic. When you both know what you're doing, but also are kind of independent enough that there's some risk of getting in each other's way. Yeah, I was a little bit off there. Let's scout ahead anyway, just to see what's going on. It seems like the down arrow is indicating that I should transfer back to the shell on the lower level. Yeah, I'm trying to do a bit of an adjustment on the jump there to land accurately, and that's actually throwing me off quite a bit. Like, I just need to land confidently on the upper level, you know, on the first try, which is going to require some accuracy, because, you know, I do have a habit of doing a lot of adjustments when I land. Like changing my facing direction, doing an extra hop, etc. Which is why I don't do well on kinds of levels that have really precise input sequences, like some Kaizo concepts and the like. You were happily surprised to find that Mario Maker Versus is actually playable now. Interesting, because, I mean, it is peer-to-peer, right? So sometimes you're just at the mercy of the people on the other end of the line. So I'm on a fairly good network now, and I still have never had a playable game of Maker 2 multiplayer, but I've had very few attempts at Maker 2 multiplayer because I just lost interest quickly. I know there's a whole interesting metagame with it in terms of, you know, how people handle the keys and the doors and such, and also when it comes to levels that are designed specifically to, you know, have this kind of parallel versus competition. Okay, I need 3 throws, but every time I'm doing that, it seems like I am being displaced slightly. And I wasn't really able to watch the bottom layer as well to see if I was successfully escorting the shell. Yeah, Terminator, definitely not necessarily expecting to clear this in this session. I will try to see as much as I can, though, and just to give a fair look at it to understand what it has to offer. Nope. That's okay. I mean, it's a fine concept. Also, my first experience with the level of yours is in Super Mario World. Given what a specialist in SMB1 you typically were with some of the previous concepts that required the style. But as we discussed with your SMB3 level, you know, the shell concept does allow you to stretch out. take advantage of mechanics such as the up throw, which this level relies on very heavily. Yeah, and I know you were telling me that just facing right will allow me to catch it again, but I'm not totally certain that's the case with some of my positioning sometimes. Okay. Yeah, oh, I see, because I accidentally faced left on the second throw. I do need to face right for each throw, and I need to time it fairly accurately in order to ensure that the bottom shell survives. No, yeah, once again I accidentally faced left after the second catch. Because I was doing a bit of an adjustment of my position, and there's no real necessity doing that. Should be able to do without making that correction. But I do have a habit of making corrections to my positioning, my facing direction, etc., which is one of the reasons that I do not do precision levels well, because very often they don't give you the additional safety margin to make those minor realignments, except when they are specifically required by the level. No, just missed. I was trying to face right and I just lost that completely. Interesting chomps up top, by the way. Top left. Being a pair of introductory chomps. Okay, whoops. Wait for the drop. And I did need a little bit of a run out of the lower shell in order to catch that accurately, the way that I would have liked. Oops. Nope, way too late. Much, much too late. Okay, catch that. No, I missed the timings, and so the bottom shell fell off, because I was a little bit late on each of the arrows. So yeah, Meng, thank you for dropping by once again. Do get some sleep on what is, for me, a very recognizable kind of sleeping schedule, so... You know that feeling you get when the sun is rising outside and you just feel like, okay, now that is a sign my work is done for the night. Very powerful feeling in some ways, you know, too. It's kind of crash at 9 in the morning and feel like, okay, I've had a good day. Now, here we go. The Civilization sleep schedule. Safety of Man, it's interesting that you mentioned that because lately the thing I've been playing on the side is Civ 6. Because I only recently got the expansions on a sale, and so I've been catching up on it for first time. And Civ 6 is probably the Civ game I know least well since I began playing, simply because I never spent that much time on vanilla. So I do love the stuff they added in the expansion content. Oops. Yeah, you've only played 5 and had to ban yourself. Yeah, that is the Civ experience. I had a couple of issues with 5. I actually didn't have too many problems with getting hooked on 5 because, you know, as somebody who had come from 4 and before that Alpha Centauri and so on, there are definitely things that are very specific to old school Civ that felt like they were a step down in 5. And you know, 5 is actually a very good introductory point into the series in that the interface was beautiful and some of the ideas were simplified in a way that was very lean, but there are specific mechanical reasons why I didn't really quite enjoy 5 as much as a lot of previous entries. And yes, it is very, very dangerous. And part of it is that Civ has such a relaxed pace to it too, right? That, you know, you do burn a lot of time waiting for the AI turn in the endgame. You burn quite a lot of time sometimes just making building decisions, etc. Or just, you know, scanning over your empire. And if you get involved in any warfare at all, it, you know, everything just slows down to this glacial pace as you have single turns that take about as much time as 50 peacetime turns. Oops. But yeah, I was actually very impressed with Civ 6 in ways I did not really expect, because, you know, there's a lot of stuff. I still think 4 is very much the peak of the series. I have very strong opinions about Civilization 4, actually. But because there was a good chunk of time back in the 2000s when, you know, Civ 4 was really my main game. It was the thing that was taking the time to master. Really kind of do the ins and outs of everything that it had to offer. And yeah, I remember like Alpha Centauri actually being one of the first games that I really played around with modding in much capacity, because it was one of the most sort of open games at the time in terms of your access to editable data as the user. Like, it was very unusual at the time to just have everything, like the faction information, etc., exposed in XML, if I recall correctly. And to be able to replace the portrait art, etc., and just have everything in sort of this very readily accessible directory, where, you know, it was not hard at all in the older games to just design your own factions and plug them in and play with that stuff. And King Prokit Gaming, thank you for the follow as I looked over to pronounce your name and fell in a hole. Can I challenge you? Well, it depends on the kind of challenge. But yeah, welcome to the stream. We are closed in terms of viewer submissions for the day, if you are interested in that, but we do run viewer levels on a fairly regular basis here. Okay, I just missed the third catch, but the bottom shell was definitely alive the whole time, so that was not the issue. Oh, a race. As in, like, a first clear race, or some other kind of race? Or are you talking about, like, directly in multiplayer? You'll find that I will not offer you very stiff competition when it comes to speedrunning. I actually am kind of I'm much more of an exploration style player, let's just say. For better or for worse. No, I needed to get down on the lower shell. That's actually the best I've ever done. If I successfully get down to the lower shell while it has been kept alive, that will be significant progress. But yeah, no, today we just need to get rid of the rest of the viewer queue, so... I do not have my friend code listed on the bot, unfortunately. And the other thing, too, is that most of the levels that we get here on the stream are kind of contrived enough mechanically that they only really work in single player. But thank you for dropping by anyway. I don't know if you also do any streaming yourself, King Prokit, or if you just kind of drop by looking for a challenge. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, there was quite a lot of refinement in Civ 6 that really kind of felt like a step forward in terms of elaborating on some of the design ideas that were present in 5. I'm pretty intrigued by some of that so far. And a lot of ideas that have kind of finally made a comeback to the series as well, so... Like, a lot of the environmental impact mechanics in Alpha Centauri, for instance, are finally back. So one of the really neat things about Alpha Centauri was that, you know, it was literally Civ in space, coming on the heels of the Civ 2 era. But there was so much terrain manipulation back then, like you would have terraforming being a core part of the game, and being able to raise and lower the sea level, and raise and lower terrain, and build defensive bubbles around cities if they get flooded, so they can become aquatic residential zones. And then if you start nuking the planet and punching holes in the terrain with your weapons of mass destruction, then the alien planet responds with its army of worms that kind of punish you for negative ecological impact. But anyway, the mind worms are not back in Civ 6, but a lot of the other ecological ideas are, in terms of, you know, thinking about environmental damage as something that actually impacts the world. Okay, no, I was able to get down to the lower level, and I don't know why I was trying to jump there. Maybe I'm able to slide down to that location. So yeah, Terminator, if I'm able to progress to that point of getting to the end of this track and getting back on the bottom shell safely, I think that's probably a good chunk of progress for this sitting. I'll take a look at the map afterwards to see how far I am. But I feel like that's a very specific milestone that I can reach for, if I'm able to get off the on-off track accurately. Yeah, I think some of the shell handling can be a bit finicky when it comes to direction, like with the bone shell, but other than that, this is pretty solid stuff so far. We were talking earlier about working on aesthetics. I find that no matter what you do, the one-tile spike blocks are always going to be pretty ugly, but the thing is, they're so fundamental to this concept that we just have to deal with them, right? Yeah. Oh, oops. But yeah, definitely some of the throw and catch arcs sometimes make me a bit uncertain. In fact, to some extent, I wonder if maybe the ceiling on some of the on-off switches would be more responsive if it were tile lower or something. I don't know if that would be true, but, you know, because there's a very specific thing that's going on here with synchronization when you up throw with the forward momentum that you already have on a Buzzy Shell. And I know you were telling me that by design you are supposed to recatch it smoothly, even if you don't change your facing direction, but I'm not seeing that yet. Okay, we got it. Now we do the cutscene, and then I was about to release the POW and I was just late on that. Single POW is going to take out all three of those munchers, it's just that we need to do it very quickly. So yeah, that was the milestone we were aiming for. We can try to peek ahead a little further because it seems like that's actually kind of a more relaxed segment after everything that came before it, where you watch the automatic thing and then you hit the munchers. You need the bone shell. Oh, even up to the part with the POW. Right, because if you pick up the POW, you will hit the munchers right away. You do need to... Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, because you don't have enough space for the pickup to be safe when it comes to rethrowing, which I think is only the case because of the way the shell is propelling you forward. Because normally that kind of spacing is just fine, like if you're running towards the munchers. Safety, you're telling me something about the breakable boxes in Mario 64. I have to think about that before I respond, because ones that slide around and only break when they hit walls. I think I know what you're talking about. And I'm just sort of thinking about like how you're conceiving of that as a coding problem. Specifically, I'm trying to think of like what kind of precedence there would be at the time, given of course that so much of what 64 does was just unprecedented. Oh no, don't worry about distractions. It's always nice to ponder some of these questions. We're all here to look at how mechanics are put together anyway, so... Anyway, if I'm burning too many attempts on this Terminator, I think I will really hold off for the time being, since we didn't hit that milestone I wanted. But if I can get back there quickly, I will try to take a crack at that Muncher row and POW. Yeah, sometimes I just land very poorly on top of the shells. I know I'm supposed to throw the arrow, it's just that I sometimes land poorly on shell, and so I feel like I need to adjust to recenter my position. And if I'm recentering my position, I become late at the arrow. I absolutely see what the intention is when it comes to what the throwing locations are supposed to be. It's just that sometimes I'm not in position to do that. And trying to get back into position is what ultimately kills me, so... But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Whoops, accidentally rode this out. Yeah, and I see that the right arrow on the row in the first segment is what's going to affect the shell timing. That if you go too early... no, it doesn't affect the shell timing. The one from up top is always going to spawn pretty consistently, so... Okay. Oh, no, just missed. Okay. I think we will call it at this point. But I am, of course, willing to get back to this, and Terminator, that's true of number 3 in the series as well, that we're certainly not quite done, it's just that they take a bit of work, and I'm going to take a look at the overall map just to see how we were doing so far. I definitely feel like I can clear this, just given a bit more work pushing against it. And so yeah, I see where the Muncher stack is kind of at about the 2/3 mark. So, lots to go after that, but of course there were some long stretches as well where you can just ride things out. So, thank you for that, Terminator. Okay, safety at long last. Let's pick up that recommendation that you had sent yesterday. So yeah, only needed to put this in a queue for a day, basically. Very early level. This is a week 1 level. Walking a dog from July 2019. So yeah, very early concept, in fact. Why not take a stroll through the park? the industrial park. So yeah, this is just a level recommendation that Safety came across, not one of Safety's levels from that list, but let's see. Well, you know, week 1 level, we'll just sort of see what was done with the tech at the time, although, you know, Maker 2 got to a pretty interesting start. Oh, I see, okay. Yeah, Blaster's just going to remain in the clown car the whole time we escort this thing. And we try to not get shot from above. Interesting, if you look at the camera position, this is also going to be built entirely in the bottom half. And we'll have the implicit scroll stop. I guess we just need to wait this out. This guy here. There we go, and just let him get the crush interaction. Notice too, the instant detonation in Poison Swamp might be something that's eventually relevant. Having a mushroom is certainly going to help in terms of creating a margin of error. Let's get grab a mushroom, and let's go. And yeah, that's going to actually stay in position a bit longer this time, except now we do need to let him get the crush. Does take a little bit of fussing around to make that happen, but giving the blaster that one tile space to shoot something and have it immediately crush out of that, well, it's something that works. Might be a concept with some potential in it, in fact. Now we await more bombs. Nope. Yes, but that's okay. Mushroom's coming up soon, as long as we don't die to the bomb in the meantime. Oh, there we go. Okay. Mushroom is going to feel quite necessary here. Once again, we kind of need to crush on this guy. Yeah, it can be something that feels a little bit unreliable, but it's okay. Whoop. Need to not get bumped off the clod. Like, the bump is going to be instant in terms of bouncing me off and sending me to my doom. So, let's let that fire. Whoop. Bad idea. I mean, I guess if we just bomb the top slot, we don't need to worry so much about letting the crush interaction happen. I feel like that's maybe almost the intended design. There we go. The sort of self-crushing interaction is kind of fun, though, when it comes to the clown car positioning. Oh, no. Just very easy to get bumped around in the process. Okay, let's let this thing fire. And we'll just let it crush some more. There we go. Yeah. Not something I've actually seen used it often, in fact, that sort of self-crushing logic here. Like, you see that kind of thing saved for trolls very often, but, you know, in terms of an actual level gate, I guess the thing that make it a relative rarity is that there is a certain lack of player agency. But leading into a position where it's going to self-crush is actually kind of satisfying to watch at the very least. But anyway, let's be given another bomb. Ideally, a safe one that will just stay out of our way. Okay. And now we have to watch out with the claws. Oh, whoops. After the escort decides to get a bit of a crush. There we go. Nope. Okay, we might have a problem here unless we take advantage of the 2-tile radius and blow up that way. Okay. Okay, so far so good. And yeah. Okay, short and sweet. Assuming we don't die to everything here. Let's lead this back. Okay. We'll take it. Yeah, thank you for that. Very clearly an early concept in some ways, but it gets the point across. But yeah, week 1 level is definitely always a bit of a grab bag when it comes to what is going on. Let's take a look at what is next if Charlie is still hanging around. Yeah, you like the characterization from the title. Yeah, very understandable. Charlie, it is your turn if you would like to speak up. And we'll take a look at your profile. And you said something about getting to pick something on my own. We'll see what you have to offer. So thank you for your patience in waiting all this time since you came in quite some time ago. But, okay, so this is Flowered Canyon. We can certainly do that, yeah. But we can look at your profile as well if you'd prefer, and you know, if you have a specific... I saw Hammer Runner, I just glimpsed over it, and I read that as Homestar Runner. Which, at this point, is gone in a flash. Yeah, interesting cover image on this one, Rainflow. Interesting cover images on a lot of this stuff, actually. So, Charlie, I don't know if you have a specific recommendation for us before we burninate the countryside. We can... I mean, we can pick something, but if you have something that you would like to see, Ludwig Lunch. Okay, let's take a look at Ludwig Lunch. Did I skip it over? Ah, yeah, Ludwig Lunch is over here. Art and technical, and only one clear on it so far, but from very few footprints, so that doesn't tell us very much, except that Jason R. got this in 4 minutes. Let's see what this is all about. And, okay. Definitely putting some work into the decoration here when it comes to making the backgrounds work for the snow theme. And here, sort of making this icy fortress. Of course, fire is going to be good. We, of course, only had access to the 1 fire flower, which is a bit of a concern because if we lose it, we can get locked unless we go back to the first segment. That's okay. Fire flower is going to be pretty useless against these guys, but let's hope that we're not gated too aggressively, and yeah, we're going to have a refresh. Yeah, that's the only thing is that if you do run out of the fire flower, it seems like you do lose the ability to get past the walls, but I know that's probably the intended concept, but still. Yeah, usually you don't necessarily want the player to be making the decision about whether to live or continue. I'm trying something here, hang on. Okay, never mind. Here's something that 3D World has conditioned me to do lately. That 3D World has a high jump that you activate by ground pounding first. Okay, yeah, because Fire Flower comes out of the question block, now we're just dead, right? That's the issue. Yeah, for something like a required gate, you might not want to have just a finite power up, because it can feel a little bit awkward when the player just has to SD, as they say, in terms of making the decision to just kind of restart the attempt based on evaluating whether or not it's actually required to do so. Anyway, non-progressive Fire Flower is just going to get us through this gate here. Yeah, but there's definitely this sort of assumption that once you grab the Fire Flower, you have a particular window where you're not allowed to lose it. Okay, maybe we're using the twirl more just to keep things under control. And more flowers, yeah, we'll take it. Definitely scanning the walls from time to time. Whoops. Not wall jumping, but scanning the walls from time to time to just check what's going on. I see this is a little bit wider than one screen when it comes to the scroll lock, so there is a little bit of scrolling left and right, and I don't know if that's being done for symmetry or some other reason, or just to give Ludwig enough spacing to work with. It feels like the kind of thing that should ideally be locked to a single screen without that scrolling. But who knows? We'll go back there, we'll do the fight properly, and then we'll see what the camera positioning is going to be about. Okay. Yeah, let's just boost forward and grab the next Fire Flower. We know it's there. That's the thing, is that once you do know what the layout of the level is, there's no particular incentive to just play it straight and just dart ahead. That's okay. Nope, it's not as okay. Anyway, let's do this segment once more. Grab more fire. And into the boss room we go. Okay, we can definitely jump through the semi-solid here if we want to just nuke Ludwig that way, but doing so is not really going to help me beat him. In fact, it's going to kind of trap me in this position unless he starts busting out some of these blocks. So I guess there is some kind of on-off state thing going on here that we need to be aware of. We can also just bop him with a shell, that helps too. Of course, he has to be out of that spinning state in order for the shell to do its work, and the shell will do its work, but we're stuck up here. Unless there is a drop point on the side, yeah. Yeah, I thought there's no way we could actually be stuck. I mean, there's definitely much more quality checking on this than that, but anyway, here's checkpoint. A little bit claustrophobic there with the icicles dangling, but yeah, so it seems like the scroll stops that you're building are consistently one tile a little too wide in terms of fixing the camera position. So this is something you do have to be aware of, is that like with the guidelines that give you the markers for one screen wide in the Maker window, you want your walls on the inside of that line. Cool avalanche effect, though. Very cool avalanche effect with the snowballs dropping in, dunking you. Okay. Grid pipe we go, and then let's... Yeah, I see. It's actually the ice blocks that are dunking you. You kind of have to be careful with not getting crushed by those. Player. And yeah, I've seen a couple of track-based drop effects like that before, but to do so in the Avalanche theme is kind of a nice touch here. It just means that I do have to look out for those ground tiles that are under the snowman, like that first one that we got jammed behind. Snowball here isn't going to give me very much to work with. Not like we can shell jump off of this thing. Yeah, there we go. A cool little finale sequence. Very literal sense. And thank you for offering me the world record, apparently. But again, very few clears on it, so. Yeah, I think, we had identified basically the things that stuck out a bit in terms of the camera locking and the Fireflower progression. These are things that you'd want to look out for so you don't put the player into a position of restarting. But thank you for that. We'll mark that as a win. So yeah, we had to keep this relatively short today. Usually when I kind of finish under 4 hours like this, I might reopen for a bit of a bonus, but today I don't think that is going to happen. So those of you who came by a little bit after queue closing will hopefully be able to catch you next time. It's just that this week is sort of particularly bad for trying to go really, really long. Thank you for the follow as well, Charlie. And we will do some more playtests from you. So we will momentarily scan around for a raid just to see if we can pass on this crew to somebody else. Hopefully somebody else who is doing maker content, but we'll just kind of scan around and see. We may have to send you to somebody new that I don't know. But that's the risk we occasionally take. The schedule over here is going to be posted to some extent onto Discord. We've been doing a couple extra nights a week to cover some things like puzzle levels as well as some specific makers. And occasionally we introduce some other games in the mix as well, and there's a certain deadline on doing Super Mario 35 in particular, so we might get back to some of that this week, but we'll see. We'll make plans. We'll talk about them. And in the meantime, whether it is a time zone for you or a broken sleep pattern for you that is saying good night or good morning or good afternoon or whatever else, all of you, thanks for joining me, and thanks especially submitters for the levels. And we'll send you off shortly. But until then, have a good day, have a good night, and fare thee well.